Good morning, Raptor freaks. S.G.A. here Friday morning. The Raptors are in Oklahoma City to play the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I have your preview for you today. All the interesting stuff about the game to lead up to it, the injury news, the ref report, the real mascot matchup, keys to a Raptors victory. Thank you for joining me this morning. Let's see, Mike's here right away. Salute, Real Ones, Project Truth. My mom got a big place in Saga. I'm helping her move and get settled in. Next week or two is going to be busier. All right, Mike. Well, you're a good son to help your mom move. And yeah, that's great. I guess you guys didn't talk to Omari about getting a place out there. You had it all set up already. And fantastic to hear that you guys are moving. And speaking of Mississauga, 905 opening their season last night out of Mississauga at Paramount with a successful win over the Westchester Knicks. I've heard didn't watch the game because here's my gripe. ESPN Plus is not available in Canada. So when you go to the G League website and you want to watch the G League game, if it's on ESPN Plus, you can't watch it because it's not shown in our region, in our country. Well, that's kind of a dumb oversight that like half the people that are going to want to watch this G League game are people that are 905 fans that are probably going to be in Canada. So we can't even watch it through the website the way it is because that's why I didn't watch it, is because this country is blocked from ESPN Plus. So figure that out. Not Raptors 905, because you have people that want to watch the game and cannot watch it or access it here in Canada because of the ESPN rules with their website. It's too bad. Yeah, Tom Duke's saying, I'm still not used to your early starts. Let's go. That's what I'm doing, Tom. I'm keeping y'all guessing, keeping y'all on your toes, and getting that spot early because that's what I want the Toronto Raptors to do tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Get to the spots early and beat them overall and get that big W tonight. Yes. Good morning, Sue. Let's do this tonight. Yeah. Hey, Mike. Hey, Tom. Hey, Sue. So good to see you guys this morning. All right. So let's talk about the injuries first. Of course, the news came out yesterday that Precious has a strain. Let me read it specifically from Josh Lewenberg's Twitter from yesterday at 2:00. After undergoing an MRI last night, Precious Achua has been diagnosed with a partial ligament tear in his right ankle. He'll wear a walking boot for the next 10 days and is out indefinitely. So his timeline is a little bit like Pascal's. Pascal's got 2 weeks. Precious has got 10 days. So they're probably going to kind of coincide with each other a lot. And maybe we get them both around the same time back. That's what I'm hoping. Once again, we hope for speedy recoveries. We hope for the best possible results from when guys get hurt to get back quick and get back right and not have it healed and not reoccur or whatever different things can happen with this kind of stuff. And this is the great thing about being NBA athletes is these guys are very good athletic people with good health and good conditioning and good like people on their side to really help monitor them and help them with their recovery quickly. So there's all kinds of things on our side with this. We have Dr. McKechnie. We have one of the best sports science teams in the NBA. And Pascal Siakam and Precious Achua are in good hands. So let's just trust in Dr. Alex McKechnie that he will get Precious and Pascal back to us as quickly as possible to be in our starting lineup or be on our team. Yes, Cool Cat is here. Good morning, Raptor-Freak crew. Excited for the game tonight. Hope for a W again. Raptors 905 home opener. Game was on NBA TV. Strange it was not YouTube as well. Business decision, I guess. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying because like I don't watch NBA TV or I don't have that cable package, and I just watch it through their website when it's available. And when this happens, I'm blocked out. I'm blacked out. I can't watch it, and so I'm really gonna have to heavily rely on Monique. Monique, if you show up this morning and you have a 905 report for last night, just let me know what happened. I know a little bit of what happened. I hear Jeff Doughton had a really good game. Saban Lee. Reggie Perry, Ron Harper Jr. I saw the interviews after the game, and Ron Harper was talking about helping Reggie Perry keep his cool. That there was some point in the game where Reggie got really mad and got a technical, and he was on his way to getting a second technical. And Ron Harper was the guy who came over and kind of calmed him down and saved Reggie from getting thrown from the game. So that's a little bit of what I know about last night. I haven't seen a box score. I haven't seen any highlights hardly at all, other than a Saban Lee steal. And yeah, it's too bad. But Monique probably seen some of this stuff. Maybe you guys saw some, and maybe you can give me y'all's report. Good stuff. Oh, Greg's here. He probably went to the game. He probably saw it firsthand. All right, Sue's saying poor Precious. He'll be out for a little while, 10 days at least, and hopefully maybe it is just 10 days, and he'll be back. Hopefully it's just like a week and a little bit. Isaac Campbell's here. Game day excitement. Rise and shine. Rise and shine. It's a day that the Raptors are playing Oklahoma City. Not the most friendly environment, but I am going to tell you guys some things that are promising and optimistic about this game today, because I really looked at Oklahoma City and what's going on with them. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're not a good team, guys. I know that we're saying they're a good team and they've been winning and they're a little dangerous and stuff, but they are not a good team. Just trust me on this. And they're going to have a lot of issues and problems. I'm going to tell you exactly why with us. Yeah, they're gonna have a big problem with us tonight. Fun guy saying out of topic, but yeah, I usually eat something close by, like Caribbean food or Chinese food, but always a full meal. Is this piggybacking on when us talking about like game day meals and what we eat for game day? I did have the real jerk wings on Wednesday for that great game against Houston, and it worked out real well. Yeah, it worked out real well. I thought about getting oxtail just because Donica Mosier's favorite meal was oxtail, and I was like, I want to get some oxtail and get in the mind of Danica Mosier. But yeah, no, I didn't do that in the end. It was very expensive. I was like, do I want to pay this much to get oxtail to be in her head? And I'm like, no, I don't want to pay this much. Greg is here. Good to see Jubstown Clink. And thanks again, Greg, for the invite. Today has just gotten completely crazy hectic for me. In fact, my girlfriend has had very, very major seizures this morning already, and she's having a hard day already. So us getting out to you at Mississauga with her itinerary today is just impossible, man. I appreciate the offer, and we do want to come out there and see a game with you, but you have to realize we live on the east side of Toronto. It's really far. And she's also, like I said, she's had a really rough morning this morning already, and she's having to cancel some of the stuff she has to do today just because she's not feeling well. And I hate hearing that in the morning when I wake up and I talk to her. But yeah, thanks again, Greg. And let's hear what you're saying. Good morning, ladies and gents. Stoked to have you all playing in the kitchen today while I prep. Nice. All right, Greg's at work. He's getting some food ready. He's probably doing some catering or something that's going on today. Maybe it's the restaurant or something. And yeah, he's listening to us while he's working. This is actually good work content, Greg. I've done this myself. I'll listen to my show back while I'm juicing, and I'm just chopping vegetables to get ready for my juicing. And I'm just like, oh, I'm just kind of side listening. But I hope you had a good time at the game last night. And let me know what's going on with the 905 too, because yeah, I have a blind spot. They won't let me see them. Let me see 905, damn it. Mike saluting you, Greg. It's good to have you today live. Sue saying, I need the Raptors doctors and trainers. Sue needs Dr. McKetney. I just found out that I have 2 meniscus tears, an ACL tear, and a PCL tear in my knee. Somehow I don't think I will be ready in 10 days. Laugh out loud. Wow, Sue. I hope you're making jokes and that you don't actually have these issues and that you're just making this up. If you do, I feel bad. You sound like Logan Paul at Crown Jewel, just coming out of this wrestling match in Saudi Arabia. This guy tore everything. This is kind of why YouTubers probably shouldn't professional wrestle. Although he is really good, he has a lot of really innate natural skills, but he did mess his leg up really, really bad in his match the other day. And I hope this isn't a real statement you're making, Sue. I really hope that this isn't true and that you really do have all these injuries. But maybe you do need to go down and see Dr. McKetney. Maybe I don't think he has a private practice, though. I think he's pretty busy with just dealing with the Raptors. Sue saying, I hope Adriana is going to be okay. My thoughts are with her today. Yeah, sometimes there's rough mornings and it's just hard, and it kind of really does set the tone for the day just because she does need to rest and help her, help her head and stuff. So yeah, Raymond's saying let's win Raps, but please let SGA get 30 plus points. I need them for fantasy points. All right, Raymond, you kind of touched on something I want to talk about today, Raymond Jacob, with your selfish needs for SGA to go off because of your fantasy team. All right, Raymond Jacob, I see you're the one who's in the no lose scenario tonight. Either the Raptors win and you're very, very happy, or SGA goes off and you get major, major fantasy points. Raymond Jacob, well, I'm not on your side like this, like I was for Kareem Thomas with Jalen Green the other day. This is what I'm going to tell y'all right now. The key to winning this game against Oklahoma City tonight is letting SGA do what he does, because he is basically everything they've got. And this may be the reason why there's all these grumblings and rumblings that he is frustrated with being on Oklahoma City Thunder. He is the only man there at this point. Lou Dort, I don't know what has happened to him this season, but his production has fallen off a lot. Dort was averaging around 20 points himself last year, right? Well, this year he's averaging around 10 points. And I don't understand this. There's nobody on this Thunder team that is elevating their game to step up and be a second banana, a helper for SGA. So SGA basically has to average over 30 points, get all these assists, get all these rebounds, everything, because nobody else is capable enough to help him on the level that is consistent and be there for him night in, night out. That's why their record is 4-7. That is why he is struggling, is because he has no support, y'all. So if we go at them with a very good collective of energy and athleticism, we should beat the Thunder tonight, because these guys are pretenders. I'm going to tell you right now, Lloyd, I'm sorry, bro. Lloyd is Scotty's friend that he plays 2K with. His favorite team is Oklahoma City. Your team is a pretender. This is not a real Western Conference power. This team has got a bunch of young guys who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Let's just put it that way. So we need to beat their ass. Almost every single game that they played, other than these overtime games, like the one recently against the Bucks that they just lost in double overtime. And there's another game that they played that was overtime earlier this season. The games that they play are not close. The margin between the Thunder and the other team is either like 15 points for them or 15 points for the other team. And I'm going to tell you which side it usually lands on, the other team. So what we can do tonight is really fuck them up with our defense. And this is another thing that's on our side. Once again, just like I said, Nick Nurse has intel on Dwight Powell. Well, he's got intel on SGA because he worked with him this summer and he knows a little bit about him from coaching him and things like that. So we may have an advantage just because of Coach Nurse and SGA, knowing him and a familiarity. So this is the thing. I think Nurse is going to know how to make a plan for how to deal with SGA today. And then if he's looking at the rest of the crew, it's like, really? Because like I said, Lou Dort has not showed up this season yet. He is not anything near what he was playing at last year. Josh Giddey's been hurt a lot already this season, and he's just kind of starting to come back now. He's only played like 1 or 2 games recently from his injury, and he is not at a high level, and he's really kind of coming back. And then the rest of them, I look at their roster, and it's like Poku, and it's not the most impressive group of guys. Let's just put it that way. Poku, and then their center right now is a 6'8" guy. Okay, it's 230 pounds. Their center is 6'8". That's all I have to say. He's a shorter center than even the centers we like to use. So this team is undersized, undermanned, and really a one-man show. And to boot, let's do their injuries real quick. Darius Baisley is out. He is maybe their best rebounder right now. He has been one of their best rebounders so far this season off the bench, and they lose one of their best rebounders. He is ruled out for tonight, hits his knee, and that really hurts them not to have his presence with the battle that they're going to have against us and what we do. So I'm really confident that we're going to beat Oklahoma City tonight. And maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but just looking at the settings of this and things, we should beat them because they're one-man team right now. SGA is it. They have him. Sure, he's incredible. He's impressive. But after that, everybody fucks up all over the place. They fuck up on defense. They're not consistent on offense. Hardly any of those guys are averaging 10 points per game. It's basically like SGA is 33 points a game, and then the next dude is like 12 points, and it's Dort or Giddey. It's one of those two guys. So yeah, they're really bad, y'all. And I look at the way they get the games they won, and yeah, sure, maybe they beat a couple of quality teams, like caught them in certain ways. They beat Dallas this year, but they have lost. They started the season with 3 losses, then went on a 4-game win streak with two big wins of the LA Clippers. At home, they beat the Clippers in Oklahoma City 2 games in a 2-game stand, which is impressive. Then they beat Dallas in an overtime win, and then they beat Orlando, and then they've lost 4 games straight since. So they really are streaking, and right now they're on a 4-game losing streak. I think we need to kick their ass. Seriously. This may be a little bit more difficult than Houston, but they are not much different than Houston. They really aren't. SGA is a superb premium talent in this league, but that is all they've got. I'm trying to tell y'all right now. So I don't know. It may be the kind of thing is like let him do whatever and not let any of the other guys do anything. Or maybe you really, really try and shut down SGA and just see how much the Oklahoma City struggle because they don't have their best engine and nobody else is able to step up and do that kind of stuff. It's kind of similar to our situation with Pascal, except they don't have very good candidates like OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Fred Van Vliet to step up. It's like basically if we didn't have Pascal, SGA's Pascal for them. He has to do so much for them. And does he have a supporting cast that will step up and help around him? No, he doesn't. At least not one that's consistent every night. Let's just put it that way. Our injuries are as follows. We have Precious out, we have Cam out, and we have Pascal out. And Justin Champagny is considered day to day. So there's our injury report. We knew what it was. Kem is already ruled out for tonight. I don't like that. I don't like that Kem's getting ruled out so early and that he isn't kind of can say he's probable or something. But this, once again, this team that we're playing tonight has no centers, has no big guys. Their tallest guy is Alexi Poku, and Alexi Poku is 190 pounds. I outweigh him at 6'3". So yeah, they're going to be able to be pushed around and bullied a lot tonight. In fact, maybe we can see a continuation of Scotty Barnes with his bully ball attack and him trying to get into the post and trying to do little things. And maybe he'll have more success this time instead against the Rockets, where he was missing the shots. Maybe he'll make them tonight against Oklahoma City in that low post attack, where he gets down there and he gets the baby on his back and he bullies them. I think that's what's going to happen today. All right, let's see. Naco the Nacho saying Alfredo's my favorite game day meal. If they had Chet, they'd probably be real good. I'm also on the clock. Nice. All right. Everybody's multitasking, getting work done and also just listening to the Raptorfreak cult this morning. I like that. Alfredo's not bad. A lot of the referees really like Italian food. From doing the ref report, I've really learned this so far. Doing the ref report, it's always like lasagna or veal parmesan. Alfredo, that fits in there, Naco. Good stuff. Fun guy saying, speaking of food, Greg comes in at the right time, laughing my ass off. Well, you know what? Maybe he just knew. Maybe there's just we can smell the good cooking in the air, Greg, from where you're out there. We know you're out there cooking that good food, and it's permeating the 416. Yeah, get that good food cooking. Yeah, let's go. Greg saying, no problem for tonight, Lex. We'll figure out a game down the road. Reg took a bad tech at the key time for 9:05, was ill-advised with game imbalance. Ron Wooten, Keels, and MJ Walker were standouts. Okay, cool. Thanks for the report, Greg. Let me just break this down. So he's saying that Reggie Perry took a bad technical at a key time, and it would have been really bad if he had totally lost his temper. And that Ron Harper in particular, he was saying he went to him and kind of held him back. And that's really good. So you say Ron Harper was really good. Wooten, Keels. Who's Keels? I want to know who Keels is. And MJ Walker. Good job. Good job. 905. Protect that home court at Paramount. And the one thing that's really cool about Paramount is that they get good crowds. Like the enthusiasm around Raptors Nation, it bleeds into the 905 at this point. That we may get like some of the best attendance for our G League team in the whole G League. That we may get like some of the best attendance, like all the time, a pretty good crowd for those games. And I'm excited about that. And that's just something about our market. And it's just something about our fan nation being dedicated to rooting on the Raptors at whatever level they are. So I love that 905 has such good turnouts because the G League is not like that. You can look at the Capital City Go-Go games this weekend. Very sparsely attended, very sparsely, very sparsely. Sue saying, no, I really do have all those tears. I just found out yesterday my right knee is screwed. I'm so sorry, Sue. I hate to hear that. I really hate to hear that. That's awful. Were you roller derbying or what was the activity you were doing or something? I hope that everything heals okay and that you get through this smoothly as possible as far as things. I know that this can be an inconvenience or just annoying. So hopefully you can be back up on your feet soon. I hate hearing about this, Sue. Leslie saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Leslie Hart. How are you today? Let's go, Raptors. Yes. Tom Duke saying, that sucks, Sue. Heal up. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Click's here. Good to see Click. Hold Shea to 20 points. Don't make Lou Dort stay wide open for threes and just play solid D on everyone else. I like this recipe that Click's cooking in his kitchen this morning. Greg's got, I don't know, what are you cooking, Greg? I want to know what you're making this morning. Maybe this will be good flavor texture for the chat. Just more food stuff. We will get to the ref report. You know, I will be talking about what they like to eat. Click's saying, all right, Click. Yeah, I love this. Can we hold Shea to 20 points? This will be the challenge. We had the Luca challenge. We've had the Jalen Green challenge. We've had the DeMar DeRozan challenge. How do we hold the big name on the other side? We failed the Luca challenge and we took the DeMar challenge and we won it really, but we didn't win the Zach LaVine challenge, but we won the DeMar challenge and we did kind of win the Jalen Green challenge. Well, now it's the SGA challenge. And what is this amazing Toronto Raptors defense do to an offensive weapon, a player that's playing so well all around tonight? That is the battle of wills, SGA versus the Raptors. And it really is like that. I'm telling y'all, the rest of that team for Oklahoma is not, they're not dependable. They are not dependable at all. No, they're not. Mike saying, not going to lie. A lot happened yesterday. Clean my subs, and I'm going full Project Truth. Logical phase 2 development, focusing on servicing the real ones better, crowning a new champ after feedback. Nice, Mike. I like your new ideas. And hey, listen, all of our content kind of morphs over time. I know Greg's stuff has probably morphed a bit over time, different kind of things. He adds new segments, new crazy little heads, collage heads, and his stuff. And yeah, you're cleaning up. You understand more about what your focus is at this point, and you want to go in that direction. You go, Mike. You keep figuring it out, man. I can see what you're doing, and it really quick development, quick. You're like Delano Banton with your development right now. It seems like you're on a fast track, Mike. All right, let's see. Patrick Douglas is saying, good morning, just hello and bye. Okay. Hey, hello. You say hello. I say goodbye. All right. 905 was good last night. Let's kill OKC later. Let go OG. Yes, Patrick Douglas. Well, thanks for dropping in and just saying hi on your way to work and or at work. Hey, I appreciate y'all listening to me while you're there, and hopefully maybe somebody vicariously near you is listening. Hey, whoever's listening to Patrick Douglas's broadcast right now, he's a good dude and he's a good friend. So look out for that guy. That's what I'm going to say right there. Monique is here. She is here. Okay, good. Good morning, Raptors over everything. I love that. That is a great sentiment of the Raptor-Freak call. Raptors over everything. Trust in Masai. Fuck Brooklyn. We have to say all our daily sayings. And thank you, Monique, for Raptors over everything this morning. And please, Monique, give me a 905 report. I want to hear your observations about 905 home opener last night because I did not get to watch it, and I hate that. Raymond Jacobs saying, I hope Masai brings SGA home. Yeah, this little fire has been burning once again this week just because we happen to be playing them this week. And there's always this chatter like, is he happy or not in Oklahoma City? Is he happy? How can he be happy if he's a man on an island like what I just described? But there are other things. Aaron Rose has an interesting piece out yesterday talking about this. And I don't think he's saying in it, you don't expect this to happen anytime soon. First of all, it doesn't make any sense with the assets that we have and what it would cost to get him. And then second, the person that has SGA under contract is Sam Presti. Sam Presti sucks. Let's just put it that way. As a GM, he's horrible to deal with. There's a reason why Masai Ujiri has never dealt with Sam Presti because he is not fun to deal with and he's not easy to deal with. So he would probably want the farm for SGA. In fact, as Aaron Rose put in his article yesterday, Scotty Barnes would be essential going to Oklahoma City if we even want to think about trying to get SGA in any kind of deal. So then you, with that in mind, guys, you start thinking about whether you really want SGA or not, because you know the price will be steep and Scotty Barnes will be involved in it. So there you go. That kills any kind of SGA trade help hopes or, oh, please. No, not on this contract. Let's see what happens when he's a free agent after this long extension is done. He's got to be there for a while. And then maybe he'll be really fed up by then. And then the going will be good to get. Yeah. So we just have to be patient with this and understand if we do anything now trying to get SGA, we're going to have to sell the farm. And Sam Presti is not the person we want to deal with. He really isn't. There's a reason why Masai Ujiri, in how many years of being in a front office with us, has never ever done a deal with Sam Presti. So there's your little intel on any kind of possibility of a SGA deal. It's not going to happen, y'all. I'm sorry, Raymond. I'm sorry. Even if that feels good because he's on your fantasy team, and then all of a sudden you see the little TOR next to his name, and like, ooh, that feels so good. Well, it ain't going to happen unless we're going to give up Scotty, and I don't want that. Fun guy saying they have a kryptonite guard duo in Dort and S.G.A. You know, sure, SGA. But I don't know about Dort. Like something weird is not translating into his third year or something. I don't know what year he's in right now. But, that is the way guys go. They have ups and downs, and he's on a down right now. Lou Dort is not the same player as he was last year. I don't know if he's slightly hurt or what, but his numbers are down. And he's definitely not stepping up as a second banana for SGA in the ways that he has in the past. He is absent. Let's just put it that way. Sue's saying, we got this game tonight. Yeah, I feel good about it. One of the other keys to the victory is we've got to jump on them early and really try and get that double-digit lead and really kind of break their spirit. Because this is the thing. If they're not that good overall and SGA feels like he's doing all the heavy lifting, they give up. They give up in the middle of games against other teams, not like us. They're not like us in that way. As a collective, the Oklahoma City Thunder will give up in the middle of the game if the game is kind of like already getting beat down. So if we beat them down and we have them by 20 at some point in the middle of the game, that may be busted open and we can cruise for the rest of the game. In fact, that's the MO of how a lot of teams have been beating them, is that they bust the game open in the middle of the game, and then Oklahoma City just doesn't have any kind of rally. They just don't have any kind of way of getting a collective effort that can overcome a lead. So that is one really good key way to win, is get a big chunk, a big margin between them in the middle of the game. And they may just wave the white flag, like at the end of the second quarter or at the beginning of the third. They could do that. I'm serious. This is kind of the pattern with them, is that they'll get down by double-digit leads and they'll never really kind of come back or anything. They'll just be there. Down. So let's keep going. Kareem Thomas is here. OG versus SGA. S.G.A won't back away from the smoke, but can he withstand OG's thunder? It's cloudy with a chance of onions, baby. Onions, baby. Onions, baby. Don't ask me why I have an onion here next to me, but I was trying to eat a raw onion, y'all. This is the weird content you get here. I took 3 bites of this onion. I took the onion challenge. Can you eat a raw onion, a whole onion by yourself? Like, let me try and bite into it right now, live. Maybe this is good entertainment. Onions, baby. This is for Chuck Swirsky, baby. It tastes like a Burger King onion ring. No. All right. Sorry. You brought up onions, and I happen to have one. Damn it. Oh, that's horrible. Onions. All right, let me go over Kareem's comment. It is a great matchup. OG versus SGA. I know SGA ain't gonna back down. He's gonna try his hardest. He has some stuff he wants to do towards his hometown team. I'm not even sure his hometown team is us or Hamilton. It's not even clear at this point. Some people say he's from Toronto. Some people say he's from Hamilton. Either way, he loves the Raptors. He's going to try and play big against us. Let me get some water. If anybody is able to eat a raw onion completely like they would eat an apple, you're not human being because you should not be able to do that. All right, that was horrible decision. All right, let's see what Greg is saying. Yeah, what a crazy stream already. Hope you heal up fast and pain free, Sue. I want to see if we use any long arm monsters on SGA. Oklahoma City is an off radar game early in season and we have injuries, so Nurse and company may tinker with obscure ideas. I like this, Greg. Yeah, I hope Sue heals up quick too. Yeah, let's see who's the Juan. As Greg puts it, we got to find out who the Juan is and the long arm monsters. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're playing a long arm monster kind of team a lot lately. With Fred was out with his back, we were just playing long arm monsters all the time. Yeah, and I think that this is like something that will really help us. Just like with the Rockets, we really need to key on them being inexperienced and young and making dumb, boneheaded mistakes. They will do this to Oklahoma City Thunder. And it may be really smart to bring out that vet line again and play them heavy tonight. Otto Porter Jr., Thad Young, OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet, and then Scotty Barnes, something like that. Those five guys are really capable and like sound technically and like not turning over the ball and just doing smart things. And I love that vet line. That when that group was out on the court against Houston, I really enjoyed watching them because I had so much security and feeling like they were going to do good things and not fuck up. And that's just the feeling I'm getting from when I see Otto Porter Jr. and Thad Young come into the game for the Raptors right now. So I think once again, out vetting this young team is really a smart strategy for Nick Nurse. That if we have this hybrid team that has a mix of vets and youth, let's go heavy on the vets once again against a young and experienced Thunder team. And that Thad Young and Otto Porter, maybe they need to be playing 30 plus minutes tonight. This would be really good. So I hope that's what his obscure idea is play Otto more. Let's discover more about what we saw against the Rockets on Wednesday with Otto. Mike saying SGA is interesting, but getting a lot of time and touches could be really advancing his skills, but he's going to want to use them to win at some point, not going to lie. Yeah, he's definitely getting the reps. He's getting all kinds of experience, but this is similar to what we were talking about yesterday with Scotty Barnes. Is that Scotty's really fortunate to be on a playoff team really early on in his career because he can develop and learn how to win and do all this stuff and actually be winning. There's a certain disconnect about becoming a really good player when you play for Orlando, when you play for Houston, when you play for Oklahoma City, because they're not good teams and they don't win enough. That in some ways you're not getting winning experience, and that can stymie a player's development over the course of their career if they're stuck in a bad team for a long time. You know, you look at Kevin Garnett's situation in the Minnesota Timberwolves for a long, long, long time. He played some of his best years as a young player on the Timberwolves, and he really needed to get out of there. SGA's situation is similar to Garnett's situation with the Timberwolves years ago. And it sucks because, like, look, he could be on a team like the Raptors and he could be winning championships earlier in his career. But because he's on a team that's committed to developing and stockpiling draft picks, I don't see them. Like, I don't agree with this kind of team. These teams that just get a whole bunch of young guys and just expect them to be a good team or develop into being a good team. No, you need that mix. You need more veterans. You need more middle career guys. You can't have just a whole bunch of 20 to 23-year-olds on your team and think that they're going to magically know how to play in the NBA and win. It just doesn't happen. And it's not going to happen for Oklahoma City either. So, yeah, they need to get more vets. They kind of needed to do what we did this summer and get just a couple more vets, but that's not in their plans. They really are tanking still and just getting more guys like Chet. Okay, go ahead, Oklahoma City. You can have all these young guys, and then you'll have to make some tough decisions. And then you may even end up being a farm team for the rest of the NBA because you'll develop a bunch of these young guys, and then they'll go to other places and they'll succeed there. And meanwhile, you guys will perennially be a farm team in Oklahoma City. It's too bad. It is too bad. And I feel bad for SGA. We'll see what happens with him over his career. Dwayne made it to the live stream. Good to see you, Dwayne Greenridge. Good Raptor Freak, Dwayne Greenridge. Good morning, Raptor Freaks posse. Let's get another one tonight. That's right, baby. It's all about getting the W's. It's all about our traveling, flying circus that we're going to come in and fly all over the court and beat you down. Yeah, we're coming to Oklahoma City tonight, and I hope we give some good entertainment to the Oklahoma people there, because we're going to come there sooner or later. And sooner we're going to come there, we're going to beat you down. That's right. Yeah. Monique is saying stars from the 905 game were Ron, Reggie, and Saban Lee. All right, so the first star of the game was Ron Harper Jr. from Monique, Reggie Perry, second star, and Saban Lee, third star. Thank you, Monique, for your update on the Raptors 905 victory over Westchester Knicks last night. They play them again today. Yeah, and they did talk about, after the game, the whole 2-game series stuff that happens so much in the G League, because this is a hot topic this week. Are these 2-game series good in the NBA? And well, the Raptors today, people hate them, apparently. I'm kind of like, I like them. I like these little mini playoff series and stuff. But some people are saying it's unfair, and it's kind of like building in losses into your schedule, because it's very unlikely to win both of them, and that you're going to take a loss either way out of those two. Now, if they were spread apart across the season, would it be maybe we would get both of those be wins? Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to still figure this out. I feel like there's pluses and minuses to the little mini 2-game series so far this season, and it's not totally clear which is better or not. It could be better that we have these, unlike Brooklyn, who only has one this whole season. That'll be what we should look at. Is look at the teams that didn't have a lot of those series, and how was their record? And then we'll look at ours and see how we did. I like them. I like innovation. I like less travel. I like the opportunity for teams to adjust and play the adjustment game during the season. I think that it can inform us that we played a 2-game series against the Miami Heat already this season. We played a 2-game series against the Philadelphia 76ers. And that that little bit of game can actually be helpful for us later on in the year to understand what maybe Doc Rivers would do to adjust, or Billy Donovan or something like that. So I like them myself, but a lot of people are not liking them, and they don't seem very popular around the NBA with the players or with the broadcasters. It's weird. It's interesting. All right, let me see what's going on with more of this comments. Cool Cat saying, it pains me to see Atlanta ahead of us in the rankings. Justin getting sick, injured so often will impact his career due to no availability. I want to see Freddie, OG, Scotty go off tonight. Yes, and Gary. I'd love to see Gary too, because some people are maligning him and saying, "Oh, you're not stepping up enough." Well, he's being efficient, and he's not being horrible. He's playing solid. It's just people think, oh, because some people are missing, they really want him to step up and do more water carrying. And I can agree with that. But I also kind of want Gary to just play with himself and do what comes naturally on the court, because I know when he does that, good things will happen. And on some nights, the volume may be bigger than other nights. And people just need to understand that. In fact, I don't want him to become such a ball hog or so aggressive in trying to score that it takes away from the team. So it's really good that he plays within our system and within the game that's happening at that time. And maybe it only translates to a 12-point game sometimes and not a 20-point game. I don't know. Just as long as we're winning, we just want to get enough water in the jug. And as far as what you're saying about Atlanta being ahead of us in the standings, well, they've had an easier schedule than us. And even though we absolutely routed them, it shows that the rankings or the standings don't necessarily reflect the real power rankings of who would win in which game and stuff like that. Let them sit above us for a little while. Let them have them good vibes, because they will be below us very soon. Trust me, Cool Cat. They will not be above us in the standings for long. Justin, yeah, I hate to hear that Justin's continuing to miss games for different things, and it's too bad. We just want you back, Champagne, healthy and consistently there. Saban Lee was great. G says Saban Lee was really good. Some of the feedback on Saban Lee is that he should actually not be on the contract that he's on with us. That we're really lucky to have him on 905, because he should actually be like a two-way player, that level, like Jeff Doughton and Ron Harper Jr. for another team. And that it is kind of really a luxury and a great addition to have the talent like Saban Lee at the level in the contract that he's on with us. at the 905. Leslie's saying all these players made it to the NBA. We can't underestimate other teams. The league wants to beat us because they know that we are a good team. Yes, I agree. And I don't want it to seem like I'm underestimating the Thunder. And maybe to a degree I am. But I really am looking at their stats so far this year. And nobody is consistently stepping up and helping SGA. SGA can average like 33, 35 points, get all the assists and the rebounds in the world. And then you look at the next person on the team, and it's their next person is not average is Josh Giddey at 13 and a half points. And he's been missing games. And like I said, Lou Dort has had a drop in his game this year. He's played all 11 games. It's not that he's not healthy. He's just not scoring this year. So they really, really lean so heavy on SGA that's a problem. That is honestly a problem. And then you have a whole bunch of guys that are averaging like 7 points, 8 points a game. And that to me smacks of a bunch of inconsistent guys around their team that on different nights they may show up and do a little bit, but on other nights they don't do jack shit. So yeah, you're right. We shouldn't underestimate them, and we should be ready no matter what. But I really can see where the settings are right for us to have a good game tonight and win, even with the injuries that we've had and stuff like that. So Greg's saying a lot of Raps fans like Jalen Williams to draft at 33 this past year. Oklahoma City have him. Keep an eye on the two Jalen Williamses and Dieng for OKC. Those are their new draft picks. Wings for my plate. Okay, you're making wings. Cool. I like wings. The Raptors like wings. We got lots of wings. We got all kinds of flavors of wings. We got honey mustard wings, Otto Porter honey mustard wings. We got some Scotty Barnes buffalo wings. Oh yeah, we got all kinds of wings. Yeah, Jiang. Okay, he was one of their draft picks. Jiang. He's pretty low on the depth chart. But yeah, the Williamses, I see them there. How confusing can you make it, Oklahoma City, that you have two guys with the exact same name, just one letter off, an I and an E? So crazy. When they did that, I was like, okay, they just drafted the same guy with the same name. Not the same guy, the same name. They just drafted the same name. That's crazy. Well, I know you were high on him in your draft content this summer. I remember you talking about Jalen Williams. And you know what? I haven't even seen these guys play ever. That's the way I treat rookies. It's like Jabari the other day. It's like, yeah, I haven't seen Jabari Smith. I'm not going to believe anything about him until I see him on the court. Well, I got my first taste of him. He's a knucklehead. He can kind of shoot threes. He's got some promise, but he's really raw and kind of an idiot. And now we got, I'm going to scout some new rookies tonight. So we'll see how good they are in the NBA level and what they do. And that's kind of what I'll do tonight. I don't really know much about them. I won't get ahead. I'll be really kind of have a blind spot. I don't believe the hype. Even if Chet was there tonight, I wouldn't be like, yeah, Chet's all that or anything or worried about him. I want to see how he looks on the big stage in the real game against NBA level. And we are NBA level. Toronto coming to town tonight is an NBA level team for them, and they're going to have to deal with that. Are they going to be more like a G League team, Oklahoma City, or are they going to be like an NBA team tonight? We'll have to see. They may be like a G League team tonight. We'll have to see. Let's see. Nako saying, not that I follow the G League a lot, but I'm pretty sure 905 is usually one of the better teams. Yeah, I think you're right. Some of the smaller markets that get a G League team really support their team because it's not so close to their main team. It's because it's like in Fort Wayne, and all the people in Fort Wayne will be like, oh, we got to go to the Mad Ants or whatever team's over there. And they get good support because of the city's small and they like to have sports. And the G League team may be the best sports in that small town. So I know the main Celtics have a really good following, and so do the Delaware Blue Coats. The Philadelphia team has a pretty good following because the people in Delaware, they don't want to have to go all the way to Philadelphia. They can just watch the game in Delaware. They'll stay there. So I think that's part of it. I'm a fun guy. You can't tell me Greg doesn't have a background in technology based on his vids. Oh yeah, you can tell. It's like he's cooking in the kitchen. He's cooking with visuals. He's always putting it in a stew and mixing it around like a salad and putting it up on the screen. And then all of a sudden I see Goran Dragic's face in the corner. And I'm like, why do you keep putting Goran on there? Greg's probably laughing about what I just said. All right, let's see. Greg saying, I'm cooking Indian food for an Indian wedding today with Ontario white guy twists, of course. Sounds good, Mike. For me, getting a Discord up and running. Nice. Cool. All right. Yeah. You're going to start. Yeah. I'm going to do a Discord too. Maybe we can link our Discords because it is something that I'm very interested in. There's some ideas I've had recently, and the Discord is involved in it, having a Raptorfreak Discord channel and having a place where we can share stuff and do things on there for Raptors news, and just maybe I'll even put extra content up there. Like I'll do maybe my video reviews on there. So let's see. Seymour Pape is here. Game day. Let's go Raptors. Yes, Seymour Pape. Thank you for coming in and saying let's go. Yeah. All right. Leslie saying hi to Sue and respect to Greg on Discord. G saying, I think people saw the Kawhi trade and think that can easily happen again. Kawhi and Green were traded for DeMar and Pirtle. If Masai gave away picks, there would be no Scotty and maybe no Koloko either. Yeah. Hindsight is 2020, and I am glad we've gone the route we have, and that we have landed Scotty Barnes and now Christian Koloko. This is fantastic. I think you're right, G. It's like they think that, oh, it's so easy to just do a Kawhi deal and get a championship. There's so much that lined up for that. And we have to understand that the room for failure on that move was such a huge, bigger part than the little part that we landed in, that we really stuck the landing and put it in the optimum, best possible outcome. And it could have easily been at any other level below what we did, and it would have kind of seemed like a failure otherwise, getting rid of DeMar and doing that. So it really was a very calculated move that had a high risk reward, and it did pay off. But not everything like this will work like this. And SGA isn't like Kawhi. He wouldn't come in and give us the same kind of things that Kawhi would, like we did with that deal. He would be more like, he'd be kind of like some of our guys already. And like, I know he's not developing, but he is kind of the same kind of level as like OG and Pascal in some ways, as far as the talent in the league. So I don't really think that like he would be that home run kind of player that is just so like, now Kevin, he could be though. Kevin Durant is on the other hand, in January, this could actually be that kind of move, like a Kawhi move, if we did kind of do something smart. But I don't know if it's smart to even go near Kevin at this point. I really don't. Let's see. Nako saying Cade, Mobley, and maybe Paolo are the only Scotty trades that are worth it. Not advocating for us to do any of those trades. I don't want any of them compared to Scotty. Scotty has intangibles and has different things that just add up to more than them. If he was pretty even with Cade and Mobley last year, well, let's just talk about all the unspoken intangibles, like maybe the way he's fun, the way he's embraced our country, our city, our team, the way he's such good friends with OG. Just the personality of him, the stuff, the fun stuff that we don't understand about him on the court completely. I think that those intangibles way outweigh any of those guys. That in the long run, we'll see that kind of stuff, the culture and just his aura and his presence brings so much more than even those dudes. Like Cade's not like Scotty in some ways. Mobley and him were very statistically similar last year, but there were so many intangibles that Scotty had on top of Mobley that needed to be taken into account. And thank God they did. And that Scotty won the Rookie of the Year. So I don't know. I wouldn't dare. Like not even the young kid from this year for Orlando. No, none of them. We got the right one, and he's in the right place. And this is the right thing. You see that dunk the other day. You see these no-look lobs to OG. Come on. We got the right one here. Monique saying, let's double team SGA, guard the three. Curry is doing great so far. That one lost is on Perry. Sharper, Harper. Wait. All right, I like this. Okay, Curry's done great so far. He's had a successful home debut. And Reggie Perry, you're blaming the loss that we had against Capital City Go-Go on Reggie Perry. And you're calling Harper Sharper Harper. I kind of like that nickname, Sharper Harper. And you're saying what weight? So what if this man weighs almost 250 pounds at 6'7"? He's like Charles Barkley. He throws it around and he gets up there, and it does not slow him down. So yeah, we like the chunk of Ron Harper Jr. Let's see him throw that weight around. Yeah, onions, baby. Tom saw me ate the onions, and it is gross, Tom, and my mouth still is gross. Let me wash it out some more. Seymour saying, all Tim Hortons food is on recall. Stay safe, Raptorsfreak. Whoa, newsflash. Thank you, Seymour Pape. Listen, y'all don't eat at Tim Hortons right now because apparently all their food is on recall. Something's happened with them and it's not safe. So don't be getting no Tim Hortons today. Maybe the coffee's okay still, but not the other stuff. All right, interesting, crazy. That's a good news flash, and it's good to know that. Man, that is weird. Covering all kinds of food items and things today. I'm a fun guy saying, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not as high on SGA to be giving up OG or Scotty or Fred or Pascal or a boatload of picks. SGA doesn't do it for me, but he's pretty good, though. I'm with fun guy. I mean, he doesn't fit Vision 6'9". And it's like, what is it really? It's kind of like we have Fred. Fred is actually very comparable to SGA as far as like equal value in some ways right now, as far as he's got more veteran experience. He's got more of this. He's got more of that. SGA may be more talented and maybe has a higher ceiling overall over time. But I would say right now, in some ways, they're kind of equal. And I'd rather have Fred because of where we're at with what we're trying to do to get a championship. That you want that guy like Fred over SGA because SGA he can get the playoffs to a certain point, but he has to keep hitting that ceiling, hit top of his head. And then like, okay, come back next year. Maybe you'll get to the second round. Okay, come back next year. Maybe you'll get to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, come back next year. Maybe you'll get the finals. Okay, come back next year. Maybe you'll get the finals. Because he's really got to go through that gauntlet of learning how much it intensifies through the playoffs going up. And our guys know they've been in there and they felt those flames already. Well, SGA ain't got nowhere near those flames. He has no idea. And there could be a learning curve of failure for a few years still. So it's like he's got the years of development where he's not even touching the playoffs. And he's going to have the years in the playoffs where he's going to have failure. So there's no guarantees for him that he'll get anywhere or any traction with this franchise that he plays with right now. And I'm completely with Fun Guy. I don't want SGA on this team until it fits or works for us in the place that we're at. And it doesn't. And it doesn't seem like it will in any time in the near future. But things can change. And I don't know what his contract's up. And maybe it's up in like 3 years or something. Maybe things are completely different at that time. And it does make more sense for him to be in a Toronto Raptors uniform. Raymond's saying you are supposed to bite around the root. Otherwise, it's going to make you tear. So, Raymond, you know about eating raw onions on the norm? All right. This is good information, and I will try that. I don't want to take another bite just because y'all brought this up, but I'm kind of tempted just because it seems like it's good entertainment. Tom's laughing about it. Either that he's laughing or he's crying from the onion tears. Let's see. Seymour saying SGA is not happy with Toronto. His cousin was a rapper from Toronto and was killed visiting him in Hamilton by guys from Toronto who followed him down there. He don't like Toronto. Family pains. This may be true. I don't know. I've heard mixed things. Obviously, he loves playing for Team Canada. Obviously, he loves playing in Hamilton when they played in Hamilton that time, him and Nickel. And then he loves playing for Nick Nurse. He loves those things. Now, you may be right about Toronto. It could be he's one of these guys. Yeah, I'm a Canadian. I love Toronto, and Toronto was a team I rooted for as a kid. But now I'm an adult, and I play in the NBA, and I want to beat the hell out of my hometown team. This is part of the reason why Kevin Durant gets up for us. It's because we were his favorite team as a kid, and it's kind of fun for him to beat his favorite team. This is on the download the thing. Like Dylan Brooks is another one. Kelly Olynyk, Corey Joseph since he left us. These guys all try and kill the Raptors when they play us again later. And SGA may be on that list, partly because of what Seymour's saying here. I don't know if it's true, but if this is true, I can see where he has some animosity towards our city. But I don't think he does, like the whole city. It may be that he just has a problem with some people here for what you're talking about here. But we'll have to see. Ooh, I don't like hearing that. And of course, gun violence and gang stuff is happening in Toronto, and it's awful. And we need to limit it. And I applaud Justin Trudeau for making the handgun ban. In this year and doing different things like that to try and curb gun violence in the country of Canada. Let's see. His name was JJ, NHS JJ. Yeah. I mean, we hear about people getting shot in Toronto in different places, rappers and different shootings. It sucks. There still is a problem around Toronto, and hopefully it gets better because of what I was just talking about with Trudeau's decision. Let's see. Click saying, "Yeah, I know what happened, but that's irrelevant to him wanting to be here." Yeah, I think Click may be right too. Like it could be that. Yeah, sure. There's some people here. There may be a gang here that he does not like. It may be dangerous for him to play in Toronto because maybe he has ops and they may be like, oh, no, you shouldn't come here, SGA, because these dudes, this other gang that killed your cousin is like around or something. I don't know. Oh, this is a crazy topic. We're hitting a lot of different stuff today, and we haven't even done the ref report yet. Let's see. Click. Seymour saying at Click, SGA don't want to be in Toronto. The loss of his cousin that he put on with MVA money, so his cousin could be happy and lose his life is traumatic. Yeah. Well, I don't know who's right or wrong in this, and I won't take sides. It could be very well that Seymour has some intel and he knows that this is true, but it could be very well that it is irrelevant also. So we don't know. We'll see. But it very much informs kind of the landscape of it with Toronto's relationship with SGA. Greg saying, love your point about outvet, Lex. We have 5 ring bearers on our roster too. That's more than any Eastern team, barring the Bucks. We were right about Koloko in the tip off too. Yes, yes, yeah, you were right, Greg. That maybe Koloko starts. You were saying that way earlier than anybody else. I have to give Greg major credit. His idea, well, mine, I kind of piggybacked on it. I said, well, maybe Koloko just comes out and does the tip off, and then they take him out like right immediately afterwards. Well, he's actually getting to run and see burn at least until he gets 2 or 3 fouls. But yeah, I think that out vetting these young teams that we play, this is a smart thing to do. We couldn't necessarily do this last year until Thad showed up. And then even him just by himself is enough. Now with Otto showing up, that is something that can actually have a real look on our team, having 2 of those guys, especially since they are a team, a set from the Bulls for 2 years that have accrued time together, that really like playing together and are friends, that they have a good synergy between each other, that they really are like a veteran hockey line that you bring in. You have your main line, you have your defensive line, you have your energy line, and then you have your vet line. And we want to put that vet line out there. And I include Wancho to a degree in this little vet group also. And we haven't seen him a whole lot yet this season, but he kind of has some veteran know-how from his Euroball and smarts just from playing in international basketball and in the NBA for the 5 years he's played. So he, in some ways, is also in that little contingency and can be an extra one just in case we need in there also is Hernan Gomez. Monique is saying, I like the less travel, but back-to-backs are crazy. Well, see, they're 2 different things. Like, do you mind the Miami series earlier this month, other than the back-to-back that we came in on, where the first game was on the second night of back-to-back from Brooklyn? That sucks. That's the part I hate, is the travel, especially when they traveled to a place where they were going to sit for a day in the middle between the 2 games. Why couldn't they have Saturday be the travel game and then they play the games on Sunday and Monday night back to back in Miami? That's what I was wondering. But like the Philadelphia series, the games had spread apart. There was one day in the middle, enough time for James Harden to go get in the nightlife and get in some trouble, maybe hopefully down at the strip clubs in Toronto. That's what we could have hoped for in the day between the 2 Philadelphia games, that James Harden was out there getting crazy, making it rain at the brass rail. That's all I was hoping for in that day in between the Philly games. I know. I think that it's good, like for the playoff feel, and the less travel is good for green things, green reasons. So there's a couple of reasons they're good, but back-to-backs have always been horrible. When you have to play 2 days in a row and there's a travel in between after the game, like you're traveling from Brooklyn to South Beach at like 4 in the morning. Yeah, that's not fair. Cowboys saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Another W. Let's go. Thank you, Bradley. Have a great Friday, TGIF, and let's enjoy the day. We have a double header, y'all. Raptors 905 versus Westchester Knicks. And then after that, the Oklahoma City Thunder game with the Raptors out in Oklahoma City. So get strapped in for 2 great games of Raptors basketball tonight. Yeah. Fun guy saying Gary plays his best against Oklahoma City. Expect a season high tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if if he drops 40 plus. Ooh, I love this prediction from Fun Guy. I'd love to see Gary Trent Jr. get a 40 piece tonight. Ooh, we'd love to see that. And, maybe he's hearing a little bit of the grumblings and the rumblings about what's going on with him in his game. I really do kind of feel like Gary in the last couple games has really been trying to be more within himself and efficient, because his shooting percentage is much better right now if he's not making more volume. He's definitely making more higher percentage of his shots. He's going from 30% shooter to like almost 50% shooter recently. It's just the volume's not as huge. And maybe that's the trade-off, is that either you want Gary to take a lot of shots, well, he's going to miss a lot if he's high usage, but he may make more points overall. Or do you want him to be less shots, but more efficient and more potent? That is the trade-off we got to think about with Gary Trent Jr. And I love your prediction, Fun Guy, and I hope it's true. I really do. Cool Cat saying the problem with the 2-game miniseries is that it is not applied across the league. It's best for every team to have 2-game miniseries. Yeah, well, it's really so tough to make everything uniform for all 30 teams as far as their chances and their odds and their strength of schedule, all the different things. And they really do try and balance it as well as they can. And it could be on a year-to-year basis. And maybe like last year, we had a much harder schedule. And then this year, they're like, oh, we gave the Raptors a pretty shitty schedule last year. Let's give them one of the easiest schedules. Because statistically, we actually have one of the easiest schedules in the league this year. A much easier schedule than last year, apparently, by the way that they rank it and look at everything. We have a way easier schedule this year. In fact, we're in the top 5 for easiest schedules out of the NBA. So that, to me, that would indicate that we should have an easier time this year with our record and different things like that. Well, we'll see how it all pans out over the season as it goes. Mike's saying SGA is a different guy, in my opinion. He has his own work ethic and edge, and I think he understands what winning basketball is and focuses on those things, even though they are losing. He seems like a character guy. Yeah, you can have all that, Mike, but unless you have real experience in that moment, you cannot really truly know. You really cannot. You have to really go through it and have that real-time experience of being there. You can prepare and think, oh, this is how the playoffs will be, or this is how the finals would be in your head all you want. But until you hit that court and you actually feel how it is, you're not going to really know. So I can see what you're saying, and I agree. He probably is somebody who works really, really hard, but you really, it's absolutely essential to have real experience in these situations. You cannot flight simulator this. You cannot put it all in your head and figure it out ahead of time. You have to actually go there and try and either fail or succeed and see how it is. And that's the crazy thing. And the Raptors, we were going blind on our championship run for a good part of it. But we did have Kawhi and Danny Green and a couple players that had gone and won championships with the Spurs. So that's what I'm saying. You need a roadmap. And what Greg said earlier, we have 4 champions on our team. Actually, we have 5 champions. We have a lot of champions on our team. And that these guys have a roadmap to how to get back to Larry O'Brien that some of the other teams in the Eastern Conference just don't have. Philadelphia is one of them. The Nets, the Knicks, the Bulls, the Hawks. Milwaukee and us are basically the only 2 teams that have the roadmap to get back to Larry O'Brien. And the rest of these other teams are pretenders, and they are not proven anything. And that's part of the reason why we should get more respect in championship conversations, is because we legitimately have the experience to get back there, just like the Milwaukee Bucks. And these other Eastern teams have not proven anything or gotten there or won it. Boston lost in the finals this past year. So they don't necessarily have the roadmap to a championship like we do. So it's something like that. It's real experience. Nameless is saying, perfect example of what you're saying about back-to-backs. Chicago rests Levine so they can guarantee one. Yeah, it's chess. It's like player chess. Well, if we're going to have this game, we just have to be smart about it. And that was smart by them. But they also they had to say to themselves, well, we're not going to play Zach in both games because he is coming back. We're kind of load managing him. And maybe we aren't favored to win the home court. And we really want to double down and make sure we win the game back in Chicago. And then we'll set him up because of the way this dynamic with the back-to-back is. It's just smart thinking by Billy Donovan and managing his team. and who's available on which night. That was a really smart move by him. And that's what I'm saying. They're a good team and they're well coached. Mike saying Clippers. All right, hang on, it jumped. Clippers team and CP3 and I remember CP3 saying we got a real one in SGA talking to Canada when Oklahoma City came to Toronto that year. Yeah. I'm not even totally sure what you're trying to say. Chris Paul is awesome. I like Chris Paul. Let's see. Nameless is saying players that are willing to stay on smaller contracts just to play in Toronto is such a testament to organization. Yeah. And that's something the Spurs did for the longest time. Manu, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, these guys took smaller contracts than what they could have taken at someplace else. And let's think, do you think Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam will be like this as players on our team? I think so. Money isn't all everything for every single player in the NBA. Sure, it is the most important thing to a lot of them. But people like Chris Boucher and Fred, it isn't. It isn't. It's actually being happy and being comfortable. And that's why they will probably stay with Toronto and take less money at different points. Like Chris didn't even want to be a free agent this summer. He's like, just let me be back in Toronto. Do we have to go through this whole rigmarole of a contract signing and all this stuff? I just want to be back in Toronto. I don't give a shit. I'm not even talking to other teams. I'm just going to go ahead and talk to Masai. And what do you guys want to give me? Oh, this is great. This is more money than I ever dreamed I'd have when I was in the streets of Montreal. And I'm not a greedy person. So thank you for giving me generational wealth. I'm not hung up on just a little bit of the money this way or this way. Because that's really, he said that afterwards. He hated it. It was a pain in the ass. He didn't even want to think about it. He put off thinking about it all last year. And then when it happened, he's like, all right, let's just get it over and done with. And yeah, let's make it easy. And boom. And Chris probably could have maybe made more money on another team or something, but he values being in his home country. He values being on a team that values him and he understands him. And there's no guarantees for a guy like him. He could get a bigger contract, go play for the New York Knicks, and his career is ruined because they misuse him or they don't respect who he is and what he does. And he gets used horribly and it just goes down the tubes. So there's something about like taking less money for security and understanding your role and knowing that the rug won't be pulled out from underneath you by the team that you're playing for because you have a relationship that's already been set and in good place. And that's something to value in today's NBA. I'll tell you what, these players, they want to switch teams so much and kind of test the market. Well, it's not the same place in other places. And you may make a big mistake with your career and end up in hell on like the Orlando Magic, but just because you wanted to make an extra $5 million a year. That's the kind of thinking that these guys got to think. Greg saying, if any of you freaks are up for a 9:05 game, let me know. Only have my kids half the time, so often space at the table, seats full until New Year's, but happy to meet and watch games with any of you freaks. Discord link. A+, Lex. Yeah, let's get a little Discord family going on. And yes, I wish I was going to the game tonight, but it's just not going to work. But hopefully we can make this work sometime this season still, Greg. I will be in contact with you about it still. Okay, yeah, this is important. We should do this. Happy Remembrance Day, everybody. And in fact, if I'm still on the air at 11:11, maybe we'll do a moment of silence for the veterans that have fought for this country of Canada and kept it safe and free. And I appreciate that sentiment. Seymour Paper, looks like you got a shot glass there. You're going to take a shot for that. Woo! All right, Summer Lowe saying, so the S.G.A. rumors are actually true? I don't know. Like he tells the press one thing. He says, no, I'm very happy to be here. I've signed this contract. I fully intend to fulfill this contract. I'm not going to be like Kevin. I'm not going to be whining and telling me to trade me. I'm going to fulfill the contract. It's basically what he's saying, and I believe him. It may be that just there's a lot of fanboys of SGA up here that really love him, and they're just trying to make up fan fiction to try and get him here and like wave the plane in. Like they're these people are like the people with the orange cones at the airport. They're trying to wave him in on the runway into 416 at the YYZ. They're like, SGA, can we land him? Come on in. I'm doing all these moves. Why are your plane landing? It could very well be that kind of stuff. It's content makers, or even like, really interesting phenomenon was what happened after Steve Nash was let go last week. Immediately, the press just went 1 + 1 = 2. This means they're going to hire Udoka. So they went off on that tangent, which there was probably no realistic evidence or basis for them to think that. They just wanted it sounded good or sounded like a good narrative to push. So they put it out there. And well, that's dead. They're not getting him. And Jacques Vaughn is their coach now. So it's interesting when sometimes people try and input their will on things they want to see by writing content, and that really is what this SGA stuff is. And it's S on Twitter. He wrote this article about this summer, and some people just loved it so much they just took it and ran with it. So I kind of blame him for this whole mess about talking about how his dream piece about how we could get SGA and make this all happen. Well, some people read it and they really liked it and they just fell in love with the idea and they won't let it go. Because I don't think it has anything really to do with anything realistically on the ground happening between the front offices. There's no talk between Sam Presti and Bobby Webster about this because there's no interest in this. We're not interested in getting him right now in the position we're in. And honestly, Sam Presti may be interested in talking to us, but we're probably not interested in talking to him just because he's, like I said, a hard ass and not easy to deal with as a general manager in trades. So it's kind of like, yeah, we're kind of a non-starter about realistically talking about it. So I don't think there is any real thing to this. They are just rumors. They're not true. Monique saying, did anyone else see the Kyle Adidas video? Gary Trent Jr. is in it too. Yeah, there's some new media, new commercials out with Kyle Lowry here in Canada, and I love it. Like Kyle, watch out, man! Miami Heat fans really hate you, and in some ways, I joke that you are a agent provocateur, a saboteur that has joined the Miami Heat at this point, and more seems like it's true. I mean, I kind of thought this when we made the deal. I'm like, Kyle's already kind of blowing our team up in little ways around it. And not that he's bad or anything, but he's a nuisance. He's a little bit of a distraction. He's not totally like helping us in the direction we're trying to go with our team building. So I was like, yeah, I'm ready for him to leave. And I kind of thought, he's going to go down there. And sure, he's a championship kind of guy. He wants to win a championship. He's going to play his ass off. He's going to play hard. But it's also the way he carries himself and stuff like that. It's going to be very nonchalant. And it's going to make people turn on him. And I knew this was going to happen. And that Miami fans want exact crazy best from their players. And Kyle hasn't necessarily been that kind of consistent all the time, dependable dude. So that he really is a lightning rod with them. And in some ways, he really has caused a lot of toxic in Miami Heat fan nation. So you go, Kyle Lowry. I'm not saying he's a sleeper agent for us. Or maybe he's like Donald Trump with Russia in the United States. He's like working for Russia, really. It's kind of like what Kyle's doing for us in the United States right now. He's working for us. He's working for Canada. He's in our ads up here. Of course he is. There's your evidence. And I like that Gary's in that ad too. Annette Patterson's here. Cool. Good to see Annette Patterson. Here every morning, 9:30 a.m. We'll be reacting to the game tomorrow and previewing the game against Indiana. Just ate a Timmy's breakfast sandwich. Where was this info an hour ago? Oh, no, Annette. Well, hopefully maybe you're okay because this is maybe, recalls, they are just have to be very careful. They have to get everything because it's just even a little bit. So hopefully maybe you're in the high percentage of safe food that they're still serving. But please monitor how you're feeling today, Annette, just in case, and maybe get some more information about what Seymour's telling us about this morning about the Tim Hortons recall. And maybe the food that you ate isn't underneath it, or maybe it'll help you understand that maybe you're safe. So hopefully everything's all right. Annette, wishing the best for you on this Friday. All right, Raymond Jacobs saying Tim Hortons recall. It's okay. They just found some bugs in the chicken soup. You'll live. Raymond Jacob, they found some bugs in chicken soup. That sounds like the old fly in the soup joke or something. I don't know. That's crazy. All right. Well, I don't know if Raymond Jacob's actually factual here, but we'll take him at his word and hope that it's just the chicken soup, Annette, and the breakfast sandwich is okay. Savage is here. Good to see Savage, even though he's a little controversial in our chat. Let's see. Jamal McGlure's brother was murdered, yet he's on the coaching staff. Doubt it. Yeah, okay. So this is actually a good comment. He's saying he doesn't think that SGA would not want to play for Toronto just because his cousin was murdered here. I mean, really is kind of separating the city from like a bad element of like a gang in the city. It's like, it's not the whole city. It's just these assholes that fucking did this to his cousin. And yeah, I mean, well, Jamal is from Toronto, and like I don't know if he hates the city of Toronto because his brother was murdered here. It may be that he just, I don't know. That's sad. I don't like hearing that happened to Jamal McGlure. But Savage, thanks for the comment today. And if you have anything more controversial you want to say, please let us know. And we appreciate your sub and being here. Let's see. Greg saying at G, you're right about people wanting to replicate the Kawhi trade. Everyone complained Raps lacked a center for years. Truth is, we drafted that center, but moved him to get Kawhi when S.A. took over Yak and DeMar. Yeah, Pirtle was that guy. I mean, we had Jonas before that even, and we had Marc Gasol, and then Pirtle was that guy. Pirtle really is the center that we could have used at this point. But I like who we have now. I really think, like, in the long run, Koloko may have even more potential than Pirtle's showing right now. In fact, he may have way more offensive potential than Jakob Pirtle. That's a crazy thing. Like, Jakob is not really that offensive minded. He's really is a defender and a rebounder and a shot blocker. His offense is stymied, but I can see all kinds of crazy potential with Christian as far as what his offense could become in the next 5 years. It's insane, actually, if you really kind of think about what he could do with his light touch, his quickness, his length, and just other things. As soon as he figures out the contact. Nameless is saying we don't need SGA on this team. I'm not even sure they're going to bring Fred back. Scotty is the future, clearly at this point. Gun ban is just another method to infringe on our rights and freedoms. No. I mean, I'm going to disagree on gun control with you, but that's fine. And I don't want to go too deep on this. I actually studied gun control pretty closely in grad school and sociology classes and demography classes. And I do have some knowledge in this area. And yeah, gun control is good. Let's just put it that way. It's not about rights and freedoms. If you really want to have the gun, you can have it, but you need to have the permit and all this stuff. But there's really no reason to have the handgun, honestly, other than, like, have hunting guns, whatever. But I don't want to get into this too much. I don't know if Freddie is exactly not a part of our future either. I think that the whole thing about Scotty's going to take Freddie's place and just displace him on this team completely is wrong. I think that they're going to coexist and they're going to be able to be together, and it's going to be fine. It really isn't like a point guard versus a point guard versus a point guard. In my mind, it's like this is a point guard, classic point guard, and this is a hybrid big point guard. And we just want more looks. We have a lot of guys that are point guard capable, and that means our ball handling and synergy is better than not having a bunch of good ball handlers. So I would like to have as many guys that are capable to play point guard: Delano, Malachi, Fred, Precious, OG, Pascal, Scotty. Is more and more is better. Let's see. Annette saying all the Canadian NBA players get up for us because they know people will be watching them. Yeah. Their friends, their family. And it really is kind of like a thing where you're a child and you love the Raptors. Well, you're not playing on them, but you want to beat them. And it is probably fun to kids from Toronto, like Dwight Powell, to say, "Ooh, we beat the Raptors. I beat my favorite team from when I was a kid." And I think that's a part of it. But it is also because there's family and friends that come to the games that are from this area, and then maybe they want to look real good in front of them. Mike's saying, Greg, I clearly remember commenting the tip Kanono no to you in the comments. Kanono no. And we're trying to find the origin of this. I've heard Jack say it on the broadcast. Kanono no. Seymour saying, Savage, Jamal grew up in Toronto. It hits different when you're not from the city. Shaking my head. Next topic. Well, I don't know. I've heard that SGA has grown up in Toronto also. It really is like some ambiguity about whether he grew up in Hamilton or he grew up in Toronto. Like some people say he was born in Toronto but raised in Hamilton. But even if he was raised in Hamilton, I'm sorry, that is too close to Toronto. And he is really kind of Toronto man's also. That, Hamilton people come to Toronto all the time. And it's not like SGA would be like not familiar with Toronto or with the city. I think his ties with the city are a lot closer than we think. And I think it's kind of weird that he would write off the whole city because of this issue, Seymour. So I kind of see what they're saying. But I'm thank you for giving us this little piece of information because it does kind of shape maybe the whole piece of the puzzle about whether SGA is possible for coming here. Let's see. Nameless is saying because these firearm bans are targeting registered and legitimate firearm owners such as myself, I'm being punished arbitrarily. Yes and no, but also you got to understand the problem is with how many guns there are. If there's a lot of guns, there's a lot of deaths. If places have less guns, they have less deaths. So not having as many guns around is better. Even if you're a registered gun owner and you legally take care of it and you do everything right, you are at a higher risk to die of a firearm being in your house than not being there. I've never owned a weapon myself, and I have a higher life expectancy because of that than you do. Just the presence of the gun in your house makes you have less life in your lifetime. That you percentage wise will have a higher percent chance of getting shot just because the gun's presence. This is the basics of gun control in general. The gun is present, the more likely you will get shot. And all it takes, responsible gun owners can put it in a box. They can do everything right, and it can all go wrong. The person breaks into your house, they find your own guns, and they shoot you with your own guns. Or that's often how people get illegal guns is they break into people's houses they know that have guns, steal their guns, and then that legal gun becomes illegal guns on the street. So I'm just going to say the main way to cut this down is to limit the gun manufacturers. They should have a cap on how many guns they are allowed to make in the first place. Now, this is impossible to do because the US is making big money on it and they're just churning them out. And we need tougher border laws against guns coming across the border because the US is the huge problem is that they're funneling the guns here in all kinds of illegal ways. And sure, you're right. You would get penalized in some ways, but maybe there's certain guns that homeowners or people like us just don't need to be owning. There's a scale from the AR-15 that's down south that's legal, and we see what it does in mass shootings, all the way down to a handgun. Now, a handgun in certain ways is, sure, you need it for protection because you live in Washington, D.C., and you have to deal with things. I can understand that. But most people in Canada do not need a handgun for their own protection. Maybe you do in certain situations. Maybe you're a police officer and you need it at home just because you may have people coming after you. Maybe you are somebody who lives in a neighborhood that is absolutely dreadful and awful, and you do need it for your protection. I won't discount that. But I will tell you right now, 95% of Canadians in this country do not need to own a handgun. And you may think that's infringing on your rights, but in some ways it's actually protecting you. Because like I said at the beginning of this, you are more likely to get shot with your own gun than you are going to shoot somebody else. So that's just the pure truth of it. And it's accidental. It could be accidental. It could be that a child finds your gun in the house and there's a tragedy. So just the presence of the gun itself is what contributes to the problem. It's not even if you're responsible. It's not even if you're legal. It's just the presence of it. And all right, I don't want to go too far on this, but that's my whole take on gun control and guns is the more guns, the more death. And that's what US gets what they get. And the countries that have limited guns in different ways, like Australia, have had a huge amount of success with bringing down gun-related deaths because of regulation of firearms. So that's what I'll say. I'm for gun control. And I think that people that are kind of like, oh, I need it to be like John Wayne or Clint Eastwood in my own life, you're crazy. You don't live in a movie world unless you really do. Like if you do live in some sort of crazy neighborhood where you absolutely need it on a life or death basis every day, okay then. But otherwise, what are you worried about? You worry about who's coming to your house or doing what with you. You're more likely to shoot your kid by accident than shoot somebody else. So there you go, Seymour. That's what I'm saying about it. All right, yeah. You guys can be against me on this. That's fine. I grew up in the South. I grew up in Tallahassee. I saw how much needless death because of the excess of guns is around. And that's why I feel this way. I've seen somebody die from a gunshot wound right in front of me, see their life expire right in front of me at the corner of Denizen and Queen Street in downtown Toronto, a bad drug deal gone wrong, where a man died right in front of me. I saw him take his last breath on the sidewalk in the middle of the street. And then he just passed. He was gone. And then I had to stay around and talk to the cops. It was like a Law and Order episode, telling them about everything I saw and stuff. They never caught the guy who killed him, but they did find out who he was. And yeah, he had murdered a whole bunch of people around Toronto at that time. So I don't know. We can differ on this. And we don't have to talk about gun control too much. But this is definitely my stance on this. And I really firmly believe this. And I wrote a master's thesis on this subject. So I do really know a lot about guns. So I will say that. But yeah, you guys go ahead and say it's so true, bro. They ain't taking our property. Hold the line. Raven Jacob, go ahead. That's fine. Mike's saying all that matters is we were all right. What are we talking about? All right, at this point. Randolph Phillips is here. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Blessings on this game day. Blessings to you, Randolph Phillips. And I hope that you find solace and care and love from the people around you in your life, your friends and your family, and everything in this trying time. We are thinking about you, Randolph, still. Tom Duke is saying morning to him also. Let's see what Nameless is also saying on top of this. Anytime they want to strip more liberties and increase control, they say it's for the children or for public safety. In reality, they only want a police and military to have access. Listen, I can get behind the Second Amendment, military, like being able to have a citizens army against that army just in case. And yeah, you're right. In some ways, the police are being militarized and they're consolidating power in that way. But this is bullshit. This is a U.S. bullshit trope as far as like the right to bear arms, the Second Amendment. It's all bullshit. Listen, you can have a gun, dude. Go get a gun. You can have a gun, a legal gun. You just can't have a handgun. And a handgun is, you can get a better gun than that. It's just you need to go through the legal ways and have it at your house, and you can have it for your protection. And the other thing we got to realize and remember about police officers in the military is that they're people like us. They're not just like robots or like the stormtroopers in Star Wars, where they can just be switched all of a sudden and turn on the good people. They have consciences. They have family members. They have people that they care about, that they're ordinary people. And they're not going to be mobilized in some certain ways against all of us like we think in the movies. Sure, they may do ugly things against protesters and big demonstrations downtown. Maybe they're protecting big banks' property and rich people's property. That's what they're doing and stuff. But this whole cowboy idea about we're going to be a ragtag militia of citizens that's going to fight against a militarized force against us, that's our own force, is crazy. First of all, I would never get to that point. So I got to poo-poo this whole mentality of being I'm a hero in my life, and that's why I need a gun, and I'll fight the big bad dark forces around me. No, come on, man. If this Second Amendment argument, I don't know. See, we're treading off subject, and I don't want to go too much farther on this, but yeah, we're going to have a difference of opinion on this. And listen, are you talking about rights and stuff? They want the people to put the masks back on in the schools because children are dying, and it's for the children. And I know this would apply exactly to what you're saying here. I agree with this. If we could just all wear masks and help some kids not die, that would be great. But some people are going to say, oh, freedoms. And they're saying this for the children. And your same argument for public safety. Well, I agree with this because the science agrees with it. And if the public officials are telling us to wear masks again indoors to save lives, I'll do it. I don't want to take a risk to hurt somebody like that. And I've heard all kinds of horror stories about since we've opened up and how many people that were immunocompromised that did die because we went back to things and they didn't have a chance because we went back to regular life a little too soon for some people who were super, super vulnerable. So there's two sides to this. And once again, we're off the preview. Let's go to the right stuff we got to do today because we're at 90 minutes. Yikes. Greg saying morning at Randolph Phillips. More on vets. Memphis got Danny Green included in the offseason move with Philly for this reason. They lacked a ring bearer in locker room equals dangerous bully team this year. Yeah, Memphis is going to be interesting. And he found out that NBA Youngboy is so cool. Because he went to Memphis. He's like, I never heard of this guy. And everybody's always listening to NBA Youngboy here. And now I realize why he's one of the greatest, is what Danny Green's. He went to Memphis and he learned about NBA Youngboy. All right, that's cool. Troy Henry saying happy Remembrance Day to the fallen soldiers. Yes, in about 20 minutes, maybe we'll do a little special tribute to them at 11:11, of course. Logical saying, Lex, I hear on playoff experience in the East and trials, I did make a roadmap deep dive. My point is SGA seems different and Oklahoma City maybe isn't hurting his career hard at the moment, but it will at some point. Oh, it's hurting his career. Trust me. There's going to be too many ups and downs, and they're never going to get anywhere. I hardly believe that he'll barely ever make the playoffs with Oklahoma City. I just see them spinning their wheels year after year, that they're not going to get in the playoffs enough for him to get that traction or learn the stuff you're talking about. Monique saying, hope Chris has a great game tonight. Been struggling, but not worried at one bit. Yeah, Chris Boucher, you get out there, show that energy, and do the right things like we like you to do out there. Yeah. Scott B saying, hey, is this still the Raptors room? Let's talk about OG dominating the league, being in the top 10 for rookie of the year, and what great organization the Raptors have compared to everyone. I agree with Scott B for sure. Let's see. Greg saying, I didn't see the Adidas video at Raptors superfan Monique. Did you put it on IG or Facebook? Rumor mill is crazy. Lex, talk about the people still talking about moving OG. Wants to be here and super talented. There's a lot in there. I'm not totally sure what all of it is. All right, you know what? I'm just going to do the ref report and then I'll get back to the comments because I feel like we're languishing and we need to flavor things up here. All right, our refs tonight are interesting. We have Zach Zarba for the first time tonight. He's from Brooklyn. We know Zach Zarba. His favorite movie is The Godfather. Greg, could you serve up some shrimp oranganata? Shrimp oranganata. That sounds very, very expensive and like very high scale. Shrimp oranganata. I'm guessing it's Italian. And his hidden talent is cooking. Now, Zach Zarba, we have our win record with him is 52.5%, and Oklahoma City's is 54.5%. So they win more often underneath him over his 21 years in the league. And it sucks because like that, I guess that counts some of the Seattle numbers, I guess, because 20 years, yeah, the Sonics would have been around in the 20 years. But yeah, Oklahoma City hasn't been that good in recent years. And the fact that they have a better record under Zach Zarba than us kind of says something in some ways. Now, the next ref is JB DeRosa. We've had JB a bit last year. He's from Canton, Ohio. His favorite show is The Big Bang Theory. He likes Kenny Chesney. His favorite meal is salmon and risotto. So we can get some salmon and risotto. These guys like seafood and pasta, it looks like. Pebble Beach. He wants to play at Pebble Beach. And his hidden talent is cooking also. This is a cooking show today. We got Greg in here cooking while he's listening. And all the refs are hidden talents are cooking. So maybe we need people to talk to them about cool recipes or different cooking ideas. And maybe we can get some favor with JB DeRosa and Zach Zarba tonight. Now, JB DeRosa's record with us is 57.9% is how many we win. But the Thunder have a way better winning percentage under him. 65% of their games they win when he's present at the game. So both these refs so far, the cooking refs, both favor the Thunder historically. Now, the last ref is Jonathan Sterling. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He grew up in Satellite Beach, Florida. His hidden talent is breakdancing. I really like that. His bucket list is to dive with the Sharks. His favorite movie is Coming to America. Okay, maybe he saw Masai's Halloween costume. That's good. He likes Chappelle's Show. And his favorite musician is Drake, y'all. Yes, Jonathan Sterling is his favorite musician is Drake. That's fantastic. Maybe Drizzy can show up. He's not going to show up at Oklahoma City. That's right. He's not going to be at the game. Why would he go to Oklahoma City for that game? But Jonathan Sterling's win percentage for the Raptors is 57.1% compared to 44.4% for the Thunder. So he's the friendliest ref in the crew, Jonathan Sterling. His wife referees in the league also, Lauren Holtkamp Sterling. So he is the husband of the husband-wife team. So Zach Zarba, JB DeRosa, and Jonathan Sterling are our refs. The two head refs are cooks, and they are not the most friendly to us as Jonathan Sterling is. So there's your ref report for tonight. Not a bad crew. I don't see any Zach Zarba has done some ref manipulation in the last couple years, but I trust him to a degree because he has a pretty good track record up until some recent games where he did some funny stuff. But otherwise, he's pretty on the up and up. And I mostly trust him. But he's shown a little bit of fucked up shit recently in some of the games he's ref for the Raps. So there we go. There's your ref report. Raymond Jacobs saying OG is 3 behind Giannis and Marcus Smart for Defensive Player of the Year, but is really second because fuck Marcus Smart in Boston. Yes, Raymond Jacob. That's what I like. Nameless is saying, I'm doing all these moves. You're so funny, man. Glad to be here with you. All right, Nameless. Love you too, man. All right, let's see. Seymour saying, which rapper player or old or new has sold the most Raptor jerseys? I'm gonna say Vince probably. Although McGrady seems like there's a lot of old McGrady jerseys out there also. But I'm gonna probably guess Vince. I would like to think that it's probably Vince, just because that Carter 15 is kind of iconic. But it could be somebody like Kyle. It could be Kyle too. It could be Kyle. I would guess it's either Vince, Kyle, or Tracy McGrady. Those would be my three best guess. Now, there's guys now that may catch up. Like Scotty may be catching up on them quick. Pascal or Fred, maybe not really. We don't see as many of those jerseys, but we definitely saw a lot of Kyle Lowry jerseys, some DeMar DeRozan jerseys, Vince Carter jerseys, and Tracy McGrady. I think those. I would, if I had to guess the top five, I'd say Vince Carter, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Tracy McGrady, and maybe Chris Bosh. Like those five, maybe the most sold ever jerseys. Seymour. We've seen the new City Edition jerseys, and they're interesting. A lot of people hate them. One of the things that's interesting about the detail is that they have the six boroughs of Toronto as puzzle pieces on the jersey, and you can barely see them, but they're all mixed up like puzzle pieces around. So you can kind of see like Toronto, Scarborough, Mississauga on there, and then on the trim of the jersey, it has "We the North" in different languages, like in Chinese, and different languages are from around the community in Toronto that are spoken. So that's kind of cool. There's little details to it that are interesting. Once again, most Raptor fans are not happy with these City Edition jerseys. That they're stupid in some ways, and they're kind of like too like subdued with their what they're doing. In some ways, we want more crazy, colorful ones like the other teams are getting. Casey Bannerman, once again, talking about him with his art with Scotty Barnes dunking on Vucevic. He basically told the Raptors in a comment when they released the City Edition, when y'all want to make a jersey that's cool, call me and get me involved, because I think he's right. And they would be smart to do this. If they can get away with the comic book style jerseys that Casey Bannerman likes to make, being our City Edition jersey, that would be a really smart marriage to do. Raptors, and maybe not up to them though. It could be the head office of the NBA says these are the specifications for how you can do the City Edition jerseys, and you cannot have like pictures or cartoon characters on there like what Casey Bannerman likes to do. So that may be part of it. But there is probably some way he could fit within the parameters of what the NBA office wants for City Edition jerseys. Let Casey Bannerman do the jerseys next season. That's what I'm saying. Or maybe let Drake Serial do them. Let some of these great, amazing Raptors artists that are around the community design the City Edition jerseys. Raptors, you may see a huge increase in selling those jerseys if you get the right artists and the right look. Yeah, 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 yeah. Scott B saying, we all know OG is number one on that list. I don't know if OG is number one on that list, Scott B. I don't know. Greg thinks it's got to be Vince for jersey sales. Yeah, that's my first thought. And usually your first thought is right. And I think it is Vince. It's just because of how long, also. You got to think about he's had more time because he had since back then. And maybe the Lowry jersey's only been sold for what, the last 10 years or so? And Vince has been sold for 25 years. So that's probably part of it right there. Fun Guy thinks it's Master P. Percy Miller, yeah, maybe easy. It's Master P. Easily, it's Master P. Greg Seymour saying, Greg, Vince is a solid pick. Nameless saying, wow, we must agree to disagree on a few things this morning. Bam, bam, Lex. Yeah, Nameless, listen, like seriously, I'm so progressively left. Yeah, I'm not going to line up with everything with everybody, but that's okay. And this is what we need to practice more in today's world, that we allow other people to have different opinions and thoughts and feelings about things than us, and just be okay with it. And I appreciate us being able to agree to disagree, and that there's no hard feelings. We are being mature about this and showing and setting an example for how everybody should deal with these kind of issues. They do not have to devolve into childish name calling and things like that. And it's just different perspectives. Your life is your life, and my life is my life. And we've had different experiences, and your views are informed by those experiences. And I don't want to poo poo or say that your views are not as valid as mine just because I have a different perspective and different place where I came from with it. That you have your reasons for believing what you believe. And I have to respect that. And I honestly, I am for rights and I am for freedom. And I am not for the government controlling us. This is important to me, but maybe our lines are just in a little bit different places, but they are very much the same values that we have at the common ground. That is important to me, that we aren't infringed on or militarized against by the police in our own country, against our own people. That's very important to me. And I do worry about that in today's society with the militarization of police forces and just the more and more of the divide in the working class and like a higher elite. And that worries me to an extent. So, but I really appreciate that. Dap all day, nameless. Mike saying made up Kanono, but I was talking about when the Birch injury was revealed. I suggested Koloko get those minutes and him flipping the ball, him tipping the ball doesn't really matter. People don't own ideas. Yeah, we don't own ideas. In fact, if they're a good idea, there could be like 30 or 1,000 of us that all think the same thing at the same time. Great minds think alike. So yeah, there's. I mean, really, are we going to the copyright artist and getting the patent? No, we're not. Scott B said, like Trump with his "you're fired." He tried to copyright the phrase "you're fired." How can you do that? Scott B saying maybe Vince, but hopefully Lowry, Pascal, or Fred. They're the real ones. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's probably pretty close between Vince and Kyle, to be honest. All the DeMar, you'd be surprised how many DeMar DeRozan jerseys are out there in existence. Also, Raymond saying Lex, being able to protect myself and my loved ones from criminals with guns outweigh any reason out there to not need one. Raymond Jacob, you live in downtown Toronto. What are you fucking worried about? Who's coming to your house? Who is coming to your house that you need the gun? Seriously. Seriously, you live in downtown Toronto. You live in one of the safest cities in the world. Nobody's coming to mess with you, bro. Seriously. If you really feel like you need it, like a gun in your house for like thousands of days of your life, and you may need it just for one day in your life, and maybe that is the day, and you're like, yeah, I'm really glad I have it. But the chances of that happening are not very good. Let's just put it that way. We have to realize that entertainment, movies, TV, like kind of messes up our brain about what's real and what is reality. There's not movie plot lines going on around in our life where we might need the gun all of a sudden. Dude, you live downtown in Toronto. You don't need a gun if you live in downtown Toronto. I'm sorry, you just do not. This is a safe city. So maybe in some parts of Scarborough you might need it, or Jane and Finch, but you don't need one downtown Toronto. Come on, man. All right, let's keep going. Raymond. Randolph saying, Alex, my prayers go out to your girlfriend for healing and comfort. Recover well, dear. Yes, she's feeling better already. It really is. She has epilepsy, and she had a seizure this morning that was kind of long and drawn out. And sometimes when they happen first thing in the morning, they really affect the rest of her day, where she just can't do a whole lot. She's kind of just got to, take some naps and take care of her body. And she had a whole bunch of stuff she was supposed to do today, and now she's not going to be able to do half of it just because of this morning, and it sucks. And getting out to see Greg tonight absolutely would be she would be wiped by then, considering what's happened already today. So let's see. Greg saying, nameless, lose the guns. They are so uncivilized. According to Obi-Wan Kenobi, take a more badass ninja route to protecting your property. Become a master of stealth and kunai. So much cooler. I love what Greg's saying here and stuff like that. You know what? I take the Kevin McAllister Home Alone approach to defending my house. Yeah, we have some homemade booby traps here, and I do have some weapons at my house. So if somebody does show up here, trust me, I have a way to deal with them. And I have them at both doors. So it's like, yeah, you can be safe and have home security. But once again, Raymond, I will tell you, the presence of a gun is dangerous for the person who owns it. You may think that it's home protection, but actually, in some ways, you're decreasing your life expectancy. All the numbers show this. This is just the damn truth. Gun owners live less life than people that don't own guns. And it's just because of that small percentage of how much the gun could just be an accident and a cleaning. It could be, like I said, God forbid this kind of stuff happens. You have your gun in your gun safe, and the kid knows how to get into it, and they're playing around with their friends, and they shoot one of their friends in the neighborhood. So there's all kinds of crazy horror stories and things that happen just because the gun exists in your home. And I'm glad Greg's standing up with me on this side, and I take the same approach as him. A lot of people say you don't need a gun to fight. Fight your own fights with your fists. Logical saying, I made up Kanona No during Summer League on a Will Lou trade stream. They were talking nicknames and one for Precious, and I came up with that for Koloko in chat. It went unheard of for time. Okay, Mike. Well, if you want credit for that, I'll give you credit for no, 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 no. I like Coco Koloko Beware. That's my favorite nickname for him, and I made that one up. How about that? Let me go get Coco Beware. This is Coco Beware. Coco Ware. He just recently joined a Facebook wrestling group that I'm in, The Real Guy, and I've interacted with him in the last couple weeks, the real dude. But he was a wrestler in the '80s, and he had a parrot named Frankie, and he did the bird. He came out to the ring to Morris Day and the Time, the bird. I don't know if y'all know that song. It's funky, and yeah, he did his little bird motion, and his name was Coco Beware. So I like calling him Koloko Beware because the Beware is great for people that go into the paint. Beware because Koloko's there. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Koloko Beware. But that's the little explanation. And if you see him behind me, that's Koloko. That's the representation of him. Monique's saying, how many of the Filipino community were watching Ron last night, you think? I have no idea, but hopefully a lot. Hopefully they didn't have the same problems as me trying to watch it. Monique, I can't watch the 905 games when they're on ESPN Plus, and that makes me mad. So I couldn't watch the game. It was kind of really bugging me. Seymour saying, I'm on Fred's side in the Gillette commercial, but not literally in the commercial. Oh, okay. Like, oh yeah, there's an OG versus Fred Gillette commercial, and Seymour is Team Fred. All right, OG's funny as hell. OG's so good. He is so good. Scott B saying no 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 is fitting. I will use it logical. No no no. No no no. I like it. Movember. I am shaving. I don't do Movember. I don't do well when I grow out my facial hair too much. I got too much of a baby face like Scott Wayne, and I don't want to put on all the age like I age myself when I grow out my facial hair. I'll put that little gray goatee on there, and then all of a sudden I will look like I'm almost 50. So I'm not participating in Movember. Maybe in spirit I am, but I am not doing Movember myself. Nameless is saying, what an amazing stream and great chat this morning. Dap, 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 Nameless. Yes, once again, thank you for allowing us to disagree, and it's not a bad deal. David's saying, honestly, I hope they give Scotty the night off and let him rest that ankle. Once again, there's nothing wrong with him, David. He's not in the injury report, and he's fine. Somebody's got to say that at some point. We love you, David S. You're awesome. Tom Duke saying, magnifique a la Chef Jubstown. Listen, seriously, if you know any of these dishes, Greg, and we could DoorDash this shit down to, well, I guess they're in Oklahoma City. I keep thinking they're here for some reason. Yeah, I don't think you can get any shrimp. What is it? Shrimp oranganata or salmon and risotto. And for some reason, Jonathan Sterling does not have a favorite food. He just doesn't have one listed. He has his favorite app is Maps. Jonathan Sterling, you're awesome. All right, let's see. Mike saying, fair, Lex, you have a great logical point. I'm debating the aspect of SGA being an outline, so you're correct. Not gonna lie. Project Truth, respect. Scott Koloko needs a boss nickname. He's gonna be a good one. Yeah, I don't know. I like SGA, and I don't want to poo-poo how good he is. And you may be exactly right. He can get development, but once again, there's just some development you just can't get just as an individual in certain situations. Tom Duke has really got that shrimp dish out there and yumming it up. Man, Tom Duke, your language looks so beautiful today with that prawn in that dish. Let's see. Monique saying Scotiabank is wanting the masks back soon again. Ooh, this is a good heads up. Listen, this is what they are talking about. I mean, this is the time of year for this. Right around this time of year, we see flu spread. And this maybe just be smart because it's getting colder. People have germs, and we've seen rises up in problems because of this. So, in some ways, maybe we do need to have a temporary mask mandate in flu season just because it helps not let the spread go around. Now, the problems in Ontario right now with the ICU beds and the kids waiting because Ford has gutted our healthcare system because he wants to make it privatized is fucked up. So this is not a time to get sick, y'all. Seriously, get precautions because this pandemic stuff is not totally all gone. And some of it could really get us in trouble when we've got our guard down and we think everything's fine. So please, if you're out there living your life, still take precautions because there is a problem at the hospitals right now. And you don't want to be waiting at a waiting room for like 12 hours right now. This is not what you want to do. So just be smart and be safe out there. And we don't want to go back to having 50% capacity or 0% capacity at the Scotty Bank Arena. So we need to do well as a whole community and population and make our numbers not go up this flu season. So do what you can do to help stop the spread. Even if it seems innocuous or stupid, it all adds up and helps. Like part of what I'm doing is I just stay home. I barely leave my house. And that's partly to keep safe from this kind of stuff because I have certain health issues that would be very dangerous if I caught COVID too much or got in bad places. And so I just help by not being out there spreading. I stay home and go out when I need to, and I am taking precautions when I do go out. So I'm not acting like this is over. And we don't want Scotiabank to go back to some of the stuff that was happening last season with not having a full capacity. So let's do our part in our everyday lives. Greg's saying we need maple syrup by the barrel in there, Tom. We do. We need to crack that thing open. Let's just fucking go to the maple forest and just start putting spigots in all the trees everywhere and just like turn them on. We'll go spigot it up, turn it on, and just leave it running. Don't even put a bucket underneath it. Just let the syrup flow into the earth. And just like we'll do enough trees that it just flows and there's just a good coating, like a veneer or something on a floor or something like that of maple syrup floor. Yes, let's do this, Greg. We need that syrup. David's saying, no chance anyone is ever wearing another mask again. What a stupid waste of time. No, David. No, 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 no. This is the folly of people that you think that this is over. No, 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 no. This is not over, man. There's going to be more and more pandemics. There's going to be more viruses to come. This is just the beginning. We have bird flu. We have SARS in the past. SARS happened. This is just the evolution of it. We have to be vigilant and ready to lock down at any time. That this shit is not over. That there could be another one coming. This thing's mutating. And this is the wrong attitude to have. Pandemics have never gone away in the history of time. They just cycle. They come through every once in a while. Spanish flu way back. SARS. Ebola, different things like that. They pop up and they rise up and flare up and they go back down. And we need to be ready to be vigilant and be ready to react and be smart about health issues with this. So, David, this is exactly the wrong stance to have. And if you think that pandemic issues for our society and our world today are over, I'm sorry to tell you that there's no way that's true. That this is just a reality of the world today, that we are going to have to balance life with trying to balance virology and pandemics. And that's just the damn truth. I'm sorry, bro. As much as you want to just take a stand and say never again, that is not very smart talk. Let's just put it that way. Nameless is saying OG's finally starting to piece it all together on both ends. Now I see why he wanted a bigger role. He was just unable to showcase it for whatever reason, mostly injuries, I guess. It could be last year he was hurt on the most of the season last year, but he would have been able to break through because he showed signs of it at the beginning of the year before he had his hip pointer. And then when that hip pointer happened, he missed like a month or two in the middle of the season. That really hurt his growth and his rhythm last year. So this year, if he just can stay healthy, hopefully we will see this kind of thing, what you're saying. And it could have happened last year. It's just his health took it away. I think you're right. Tom Duke saying Toronto Raptors 2023 NBA champions. Yes, Toronto Raptors NBA champions 2023. Say it, put it out in existence, say it over and over again, and get those vats of maple syrup. Tom Duke, thank you. Thank you. Click is saying the city edition jerseys for all the teams are really bad this year, to be honest. It's not just us. At least ours is kind of subdued bad. And I don't even think it's that bad. It's just that you really have to look closely at it to understand it. And, one of the things people have said about the city edition jerseys for Raptors this year is that they'll age well. Like in a couple years, they may look better then. But I don't know. I think that there's so much they could do with our city edition, and that them just doing the black and gold every year isn't necessarily the most smart. That maybe they do need to go and do a old school purple jersey for the city edition one year and just drop the black and gold colors just for 1 year. But they really incorporated it into the Welcome Toronto program. And that is just the thing. It's the Drake night stuff. So it is what it is. Monique saying, so much fans are complaining about the city edition jerseys. You beat me to it, Lex. About that Casey comment. Yeah, you saw Casey Bannerman, what he said too. I think he's smart. And I think that if they saw that comment, they may seriously have to think about getting him involved for next year. Greg saying, laughing at Raymond and Marcus Smart. I love Marcus equals controversial for Raps fans for sure. How the hell does Tom have shrimp and risotto emojis? It's his language. He knows where they're all at. Laugh out loud. Scotty might close in fast on the jersey sales. I hope so. I mean, I got one of his now at this point. Yeah, okay, Greg, if you're gonna be a Marcus Smart stand in here, yeah, you will get attacked. You will get attacked for that stance if you're gonna go that way. All right, let's keep going. Holy crap. All right, you guys are yeah, let me see. All right, I gotta catch up. All right, Click saying I like the OVO theme, but we can still use that theme or the owl patch if we make a purple and red jersey. I wouldn't mind a black and gold or white and gold with the CN Tower skyline on the jersey too. That's a good idea. I like that idea. I kind of really want to see them bring back the purple front black backs from Vince Carter years. I really kind of want to see that one come back as a throwback next. And I think they may do that. If they do the pattern of like 20 years of the Raptors, they did the old purple dinosaur jersey. They did those for a couple of games that season. Maybe in like the 30th year, they'll do like the old Vince Carter purple front black backs. Let's see. Nameless is saying OG has the opportunity to be a savior in the city while Siakam and now Precious are down. He's so elite, so many elite skills sets. He really, really does. Yeah, he has a lot, and he's playing very well right now. And let's see it continue tonight. A complete game on both ends of the court. OG Anunoby. Let's see it. Fun guy saying, laugh out loud. What? You certainly need one downtown, bro. I still remember a rapper, Smoke Dog, killed right downtown on the street. Bro, I live right in the middle of all that. You don't need that. Come on, man. I've lived in bad parts. All right. I've lived in Chinatown. I've lived in Kensington Market. I've lived in Little Italy. I'm living in Leslieville right now. I've never ever felt the need to have a gun anywhere in downtown Toronto. I was in the middle of all those shootings in the middle of the summer of 2018 or something like that, 2019. There was a bunch of shootings. I remember when Smoke Dog got shot out in front of the Bamboo House on Queen Street. And that's the thing. People get targeted because they're involved in ops kind of bullshit. That doesn't mean you need the gun. Like, you can't stop the Jane Kreba thing. That's just bad timing and being in the bad place at the wrong time. You think you're going to be a superhero and take down a shooter in the middle of that kind of situation? No. That's not normally the case. And why do you want to be that anyway? You're not Clint Eastwood. So no, I've never ever felt the need to own a gun in downtown Toronto. And I lived right near Augusta, where there is a housing project there, and there are gangs. And I dealt with them all the time. They come into the store and talk to me. They love me. They watch my show. I did a Kensington Variety VIP Club show, and the gang that was out there thugging and doing stuff, they loved me. So it's like, listen, you just get in touch with your city and understand your surroundings and people around you, and you don't have any enemies. What the fuck do you need a gun for? Seriously. You do not need a gun in downtown Toronto. Nobody needs a gun in downtown Toronto. They just don't. This is wrong. Fun guy, you're in Mississauga, right? Do you feel like you need a gun in Mississauga? Well, it's not any different down here. Now, maybe in some parts of Toronto, sure. Driftwood. You want to talk about Driftwood? Sure. You want to talk about Galloway and the Galloway boys out there in Scarborough and that part of Scarborough out Kingston Road? You want to talk about Jane and Finch and Driftwood? Sure. Sure, but Monique lives out there. Do you think Monique feels like she needs a gun in her own neighborhood? No. If she's in with the people, she knows the people, then it's fine. It's safe. Sometimes the people that we are worried about with the guns are not really very interested in ordinary citizens. They're interested in the other criminals. They're interested in gang wars. They're interested in shooting their ops. They're not interested in shooting us. Now, the danger happens when they steal the legal guns from your house and they have a gun all of a sudden, and then they're doing spree shooting in the middle of public, and then innocent people get killed. Now, how would you feel if you owned a legal gun and a criminal came and broke into your house, stole your gun, and then like a couple days later shot 5 people in the city? That's a very more likely scenario than you being a hero and saving the day. That is way more likely in some ways, like statistically. So that's what I'm saying right here. I mean, we're in the gun control thing, and I know I'm on an island to a degree with you guys. So, Alex, I'm buying a farm. Also, you never know what the future holds. Example, Ukraine. All right, Raymond, sure. Sure. I mean, listen, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. If you're on a farm, I can understand having a hunting rifle or a gun for wildlife issues, but it's not for people issues. And you have guns for those issues, and that's fine. I can get that. I can get behind that. I have family that are farmers out in Manitoba, and these are reasons why they would have a gun. And I'm not against gun ownership. I'm just against having so many guns, and not everybody needs to have them. But yeah, the Ukraine thing, that's a little, unless the US is going to try and invade us, then I can get behind that, Raymond, what you're saying. Only if they're trying to invade us. All right, let's see. Greg saying, thinking differently, respectfully makes us a stronger community. Sharing ideas unites us in the long run and gets us closer to a human centric world void of inequalities. Laugh out loud, Kevin McAllister's strategy. Of course. Of course. He was the master, Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. He can learn so much about protecting your home from that movie. Seriously, there's so many cool things you can do, and they're kind of fun. But Greg, your main point here is exactly right. And it's important in today's society with just how divisive we are. Click saying, if you're not involved in street politics, there are high chances that you won't be targeted. Use your brain. Exactly. That's what I'll get behind on this. If you're a part of your community and you're out there and you're involved, like if you know homeless people in your neighborhood, then you're probably fine. I knew all the homeless people in Kensington Market when I lived there a couple years ago. I knew everybody on the street. I felt totally safe. In fact, I felt safer because I was around so many people. And there are parts of that part of Kensington Market be very dangerous, dark at night. If you're a young lady, you don't really want to walk around there at midnight in some ways. But I was one of the people that were there as a guardian angel. And it was kind of safe just because there were people like me looking out. And you think Fred VanVleet would be standing at the corner of Kensington and Dundas at midnight on a Sunday night if he didn't feel safe with no protection other than like an agent? He did not have bodyguards with him or anything like that. If this city wasn't safe, listen, you got to just know the right people. You know the gang that's out of Augusta. They watch your Instagram show. They're friends with you. We love your show. They'd appear on my show even too with masks and come on. And I'll be like, yeah, there's just some of the neighborhood kids. And like, hey, they want to express something. And I would have gangsters on my Instagram convenience store show. It's really interesting show. But, you know, I knew them. I knew the homeless people. I knew even the triad Chinese mafia people around me, partly because my landlord was involved with them. So it's like I've had friends with all the people that would be problems that are violent. And that's really what Click's point is here is you know your community, you know your people, you should be safe, even in Jane and Finch, even in Galloway, stuff like that. And they don't want to mess with ordinary innocent citizens. They're bystanders in awful bad situations. Sure, that's awful. But more often they're targeting people and going after people very specifically. And there's reasons because it's get back and get back and get back. And that kind of dynamic. Seymour saying Koloko Beware is solid. Koloko Beware. I just like it. It kind of goes in an old rhyme pattern of how old like people will remember Coco Beware and they'll be like Koloko Beware. Yeah, it's solid. I think Konono is very good also. And what about Kokomo? Kokomo. Kokokolomo. Way down in Kokolomo. I can't do the Beach Boys right now. Where's John Stamos? Ah, all right, let's keep going. Nameless saying, I think Precious down will lead to way more playing time for Otto, which is I'm totally down for. Otto is not a liability at all. Plus, it will get his conditioning up. Oh man, I forgot the 11-11. My bad, guys. I apologize. Yeah, I think this is actually a really good byproduct of Precious's being absent is that Otto is going to get way more time right now. And this could really unlock him in our rotation and being very usable going forward and stuff. I really fucked up and forgot about that. I was too involved in the comments and I forgot about the time. Honoring and respecting and remembering our veterans today. Both of my grandfathers fought in World War II on different sides. And it's important to remember the people that died and put their lives on the line to ensure our freedoms here on this continent and in our country. So respect and love to all the armed forces out there and what you do for us to protect us and what you've done in the sacrifice in the past for us also. Respect from Raptorsfreak Cult and me, myself personally, to you all, veterans out there. Let's see. Monique is saying, Lex, do you have NBA TV Canada? I've had it for years. No, I can't. Monique, I don't have cable. Let's just put it that way. I don't have cable. And this is part of the issues with me and watching things. Let's see. Bet you. Yeah, I did forget, Raymond. You were exactly right. You won that bet. Click saying, I'm done wearing masks. Every fall, we're going to have to put them on. I ain't doing it no more. I take my vitamins and exercise regularly, and I don't smoke or drink often. It's up to everybody's personal choice. And I don't want to say everybody's mandated to do this. It's just that they're making the suggestion to try and help as a whole. And that's part of the reason why I will do it. I understand people don't like being told what to do. And I can get that. And it's good at least that you are doing certain things to ensure, staying healthy and things like that. I'll take that. If you're not a teacher and you're not in a classroom full of students, then I won't be upset about this. It's really those kind of people that are in situations with people that may be vulnerable and not totally safe with the pandemic going on, that I wish those people would be more safe. And you don't know that totally if you're riding around on TTC. Who near you may be vulnerable and actually at risk at a higher level than an average person. So that's part of the reason why I would just say, let's just go ahead and do it, just to be careful for everyone. Because I am not only a person myself that is vulnerable in some ways, but I have a lot of loved ones in my life that are vulnerable in different ways. And they want to go back to their lives. And it's not so easy, partly because everybody is not totally taking responsibility in their own lives in ways they could. But I don't fault you for doing what you want to do. And you know best with your settings of your life and who you interact with, where you may need to be careful and when you may not need to be careful. And I won't judge you. You do what you need to do. Nameless is saying we got a bunch of pancakes and a bunch of butter. And man, it's gonna be time to feast tonight. Oh yeah, let's see. Fun guy saying I have to put my my medical hat and be honest. COVID is going nowhere. Historically, that's been the case mostly for viruses. Viruses don't usually just disappear. Yeah, and they mutate and they become different things. We've heard Omicron variant, this different variant, and we hear a lot of horror stories, and it's kind of tough to gauge like horror stories with reality and how much safety we should be taking. But yeah, this is the truth. I wish that this was just slam dunk over. But we can do smart things with the experience we've had and knowing how to handle it to kind of temper the severity of the outcomes and things that are happening with it, at least. And we just need to be smart and learn from what we've already learned. Greg saying, rolling on the floor laughing, maple syrup river flowing through the renovated entrance to Scotiabank Arena, like a Canadian version of water feature. Can koi fish live in that? Take that, Mandarin. Greg, that's a fire comment. I love that so much. Yeah, maybe there's some sort of weird fish that can live in syrup. Maybe it's some sort of lungfish or something. I don't know. David's saying true, but we learned to ignore them and live with them. We haven't been walking around with the helmet since influenza came to be. Well, but we have gone through periods where masks were highly encouraged and staying home was encouraged. This is not new. This is something that they did during the Spanish flu 100 years ago, that they told people to do the same damn thing. This is why people that are uprised and say, oh, they're just trying to control us. No, they're trying to do what has proven to work in the past. And they want to replicate the success, much like the basketball team wants to replicate success from things that have worked in the past. We got to do the same thing in managing pandemics. And that this is nothing new. Way back then, without social media, they were telling everybody to wear masks and stay home during the pandemic then. So that's just part of it, is like we're using this tried and true methods that have helped lessen the severity of pandemic things by doing these things. This isn't new stuff. This isn't crazy conspiracy stuff. This is proven methods that have worked throughout the history of learning about pandemics. And we're just adding to that information and knowledge of it. That a vaccine is that a logical step on top of it, than just like taking precaution by staying home and wearing masks. It's like getting a vaccine. That's the next level of it. We get the next level of it, the next level of it, and trying to battle it. This is what we hope we can catch up with it and get a rein on it. Because in some ways it could be very, very dystopian and awful that there's a variant that just wipes everybody out and we cannot stop it in time. That could actually happen. That's crazy ass movie shit, but that is something scary that could actually happen. And that's why we need to respect virology and pandemics and the power of them, because there could be one that we can't control or get a harness on as easily as we did, or we didn't really do it that easily with this one. There could be worse ones later. We just got to be ready. Monique is saying some 905 games are on NBA TV Canada, just so you know. I'm going to have to miss those ones, I guess, Monique. is that I'm just not going to be able to see the ones when they do this ESPN Plus thing to me. And it's too bad. It is what it is. I'll just have to lean on you guys to give me the info. I couldn't even find the box score last night. It's crazy. Seymour's got a tip for y'all. Wash your damn hands. And he's got the emoji language for it too. Please, just do it for Seymour. Eric Jacobs here. Holy crap, Eric Jacob. He is in Africa. We miss you, Eric Jacob. I'm so happy to see you, man. We are deep. We miss Pascal, but win without. Missed Fred, but won without. By the way, Otto Porter Jr. is everything we hoped he was. Yes, Eric Jacob. Thanks. Good, so good to see you, man. It's been a bit, and we missed you, Raptor Freak, Eric Jacob. And we're happy to see you come back and talk about how deep we are. Yeah, we love the Otto Porter stuff we're seeing this week so far. It's going to be fantastic. Check mark for Eric Jacob. Seymour Pate. All right, David Dizzy B saying, agree, click. The psychological effects of masking are real, but not studied. Lockdowns and masking led to excess deaths over the past 2 years. Well, there's ways of looking at it. I think that, you could say, okay, were the deaths for this or this? I mean, are you talking about suicide or depression? You're talking about psychological problems. Sure, everything. This is all difficult to deal with. But this is the thing. Don't blame the thing that's helping us curb the pandemic for the psychological damage. The psychological damage is the pandemic in itself, is the virus, is the thing in that. So I think we're kind of targeting the wrong thing here. It's not the measures to fight the pandemic. It's just the fact that we had it happen and that it made us have to change our lives. And you know what? You could go ahead, act like nothing's wrong. Act like, la, 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 nothing's wrong, like I am with Scotty. And, go ahead and live your life and see how that works. Go ahead and disregard all kind of pandemic regulations and things that they're suggesting to us and just see how that works. If you can get away with it and everything's fine and life is normal and you feel like, okay, yeah, they're just doing a psychological gaslighting to us. And this is the whole reason why they're doing this. They just want us to all be sad and depressed and hate our lives. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. You should have that kind of anger towards the pandemic itself, the virus, and not the measures we've used to try and curb it. So there's a difference here. Click saying a cool jersey concept would be orange to pay homage to the indigenous communities in Canada. Some way you can incorporate the OVO owl patch. I love that too. I love the color orange. It's just not traditionally ever been anything around the Raptors franchise. We've seen orange be on the Orlando jersey recently, and it just kind of looks weird. It's like, why are they wearing orange? Oh, it's Florida, orange sunshine state, but it's still kind of weird. They look like weird Phoenix jerseys when Orlando wears them. I don't know. I'm okay with this. I love honoring the indigenous people like we did at the game on Wednesday night. And maybe having a jersey is an even better, more put it out there kind of way. And they could even make like some of the proceeds from the sales go towards causes for indigenous people. There's all kinds of good stuff they could do with this. I think this is a great idea, Click. I don't know about the orange though, but maybe the orange needs to be incorporated because of the whole subject and what orange means for that cause. Let's see. Fun guy saying, but Lex, I am Clint Eastwood. It's me behind the count. If you're really Clint Eastwood, I want to thank you, man. You're a great actor. I love your old spaghetti westerns with Sergio Leone, for a few more dollars, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all that kind of movies. Thank you, Clint, for all the work you've done throughout the years. I appreciate you. And you're still going. You're like 90 something. And you still are involved in movies to a degree. Monique saying, I'll say it again, 10 days in a walking boot for Precious ain't nothing. Thinking about you, Precious. Yeah, I agree with you, Monique. Hopefully it's really quick and getting back. Seymour Pape saying, I'm waking my girl up, babe. I need pancakes, extra syrup. So it's like, you're not going to get up and make them yourself. You're going to get your girl up, Seymour, and say, go make me some pancakes, woman. Don't have that kind of talk. Nameless is saying, I'm now communicating with Tom Duke in his native tongue. Perfect. Yes. You guys have, you know what? This may evolve this way. They're saying that AI is predicted. We're just going to turn into computer cyborg people over time. They ask the AI machine, what is the human's life expectancy start? And they start with like the apes and go into evolution. And then they show us today. And then we start turning into cyborgs. And then eventually we just turn into computers. And then we're just like tubing for like casing for like circuits. It's like, that's what AI is telling us is the evolution of humans. Well, maybe we'll evolve on this channel from like letters, and we'll just go into emoticon language, hieroglyphic language, and that will be all of the chat at some point. That Tom is the trendsetter at the beginning. Tom's saying you're making him hungry and all fired up. Let's go. Yeah, get the plates out. David's saying, "Are you in Leslieville, Lex? We're neighbors." Yeah, I am in Leslieville. I'm really close. I'm right in the heart of Leslieville, deep in the heart of Leslieville, and we definitely don't need a gun around here. Trust me. These are all families with strollers, and there's no homeless people in my neighborhood over here, and there's no like fishy stuff. There's actually a huge police station near my house where police cars are always flying through here to go get to other parts of the city where there's problems. But yeah, I'm in Leslieville, David. You probably are near me. I won't say exactly where I am just for privacy reasons. Monique is saying, "Happy Remembrance Day. Go Raptors." Yes, thank you, Monique. I'm sorry that I missed the 11/11 silent moment. It's not a good Canadian. Fun guy saying, "Bro, Chris's Sports Corner served and his wife. Wow, just saw the pics." What? Served and his wife? Oh, you got some pancakes? Maybe he got some pancakes from his wife. That would be good. Monique's saying we're in Toronto. A lot of us are in Toronto. Vanessa James is saying owls mean death in few native cultures. Ooh. There's also a lot in the owl that is about secret societies. That there's owls that are shown in like like a movie like Eyes Wide Shut with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. That movie, there's certain ideology with the owl being kind of watching and at night. And there's some ideology tied to it with Illuminati and kind of like secret society watching the owl. The owl has kind of got some of that tied into it. But that's interesting that owls mean death in a few native cultures also. They kind of come at night and they are predators that come after small rodents, and that is kind of like the flight of death in there. Tom likes the idea of an orange jersey. I don't think it's bad. Greg saying pre-work done for today. The wedding is tomorrow, so 4:20 time here. Anyone up for 9:05 game tonight to take Lex's spot? Let me know. I'm going with my girlfriend Brooke. 2 seats at the table if anyone is game. Yeah, somebody go to that game instead of me. It's just not going to work. I have a heavy workload today myself. I have a whole bunch of work I got to do after this. And I want to get it done in time so that I can watch both the 9:05 and the Raptors game. And it was just a time crunch for me also, just on my heavy workload to get out there, besides the stuff with Adriana and all the things that are happening with her and her activities, and now also the things she's dealing with this morning. So definitely go there, take my spot, y'all. Somebody, fun guy, you're in Mississauga. Why don't you go and meet Greg at the 9:05 game tonight and go to the game for free? Go see Greg and sit at the table with him and enjoy the experience. Fun guy. I know you're in the area, so maybe you can go there. Yeah. Let's see. Tom Duke saying, "Wow, Vanessa, thanks for sharing that." Yeah, thanks for the info on the owl and the significance to indigenous cultures. I'm a fun guy. I just had my dance with Mary Jane. I'll see her again for the Raptors game. See, that maybe you need to go down there, fun guy. You could be going to that 9:05 game tonight. Seymour saying, "Vanessa, now that's some info. Well appreciated. Thank you, Vanessa. The Raptor cult appreciates it." Raymond Jacobs saying, "That fun guy dancing like Kumar with a huge bag of weed in the movie Harold and Kumar." That's funny. I like that. I like that image. Cherry Death Flower Puffs. Ooh, now we got full circle. We went with the food early. Now we're on the weed. Let's see. Monique saying, "Didn't mean to piss people off about the mask thing. FYI, I'm a normal SBA goer." Yeah, no, you're not, Monique, and you're not pissing me off. I think people just are sick of it, and they get upset when they hear that they might have to go back to doing that. But I think it's just responsible for us to listen to the health officials. Forget about Donald Trump. Forget about Rob Ford. Forget about, Doug Ford, or any of these other leaders that say other things. We need to listen to the doctors. And if the doctors are determining that we need to do this again just to be smart and save some lives, I'm going to listen to them, because I believe in science. I don't believe in, freedom is important, but I also believe in science, and I want to help other people. And we're, as a community, we're Canada, we're Toronto, we care about each other. That's why we did so good as a huge city in the beginning of the pandemic with lessening deaths. Like the states were messed up and stupid because people had this kind of mentality that we don't give a fuck and we're just going to do whatever. And a lot of extra people died because of it. So it's not you, Monique. They're not mad at you. They're mad at the idea of having to possibly wear the mask again. And as you being a regular goer to the Scotiabank Arena, you have to keep track of this and understand that they may have to go back to this. And also, as a byproduct, I would plead to all the Raptor Free cult maybe we do need to wear a mask just to help the Raptors have a crowd in their arena. That we don't want to repeat around Christmas like we had last year, where all of a sudden they're putting restrictions on our home court with attendance and the way they're doing it just because we have a flare up of a bunch of pandemic stuff all of a sudden because people got together for family things, and then boom, there's all of a sudden a problem with a wave of pandemic, and they have to restrict how many people can come to the game. So don't worry about yourself personally. Worry about the Raptors and whether they can have a home court crowd. And that is part of your thinking and reasoning for why you may make some of the decisions related to pandemic stuff. Is you're thinking about the Raptors having a home crowd that can root them. That's my main motivation, other than not getting sick, is I want the building to stay open and not to have any kind of capacity issues around New Year's or Christmas just because of a flare up in the next month. So maybe we're thinking ahead on that way. Bam. Yeah, Tom would go to that game with you, Greg. If he was over on this coast, he'd come over there. Klink is saying, last night I spoke to Jalen Harris. Wow. Injured. Sorry not to see him play. That's right. He's on Westchester Knicks. So he's not on the 905, but you talked to him, Greg. That's awesome. You also spoke to Courtney Charles about the 905 roster and Eric Curry. Pretty cool. Great. Get that content. Well, I hope you were filming Jalen Harris and put that on your channel, bro. Tom Duke saying, awesome sauce, Greg. And Fun Guy saying they both served in Army with him and his wife. Maybe that's how they met. That'd be so cool. Who served in the Army with their wife and stuff? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let me get back on track. The real mascot matchup. Last time we saw the mascot, he was flying through the air because he had gotten hit by the bull, and he was like trying to see where he was going to land. Well, he landed somewhere rocketing through the air on a very nice, cushy moss bed. It was like nice moss. Like sometimes you can be out in the woods and you just see like a great carpet of green moss on the ground, and you're just like, I liken this lichen. I really liken the lichen because it's what the deer eat, and it's just so pretty. It's like velvety looking, and that's where he landed. He landed on the velvet kind of moss, and it was such a nice, cushy landing. He's like, oh, I'm okay, and the bull was gone, and everything was fine. So everything worked out with his horrible getting jostled by the bull. Well, now all of a sudden he hears like some clouds rolling in and kind of a little bit of, and he's in the middle of forest, and there's a thunderstorm coming in, rolling in. Well, what's the raptor going to do? He's got to think about when he was a kid. What do you learn about a thunderstorm and being in around trees? It's not smart. It's not safe. Maybe you're not supposed to get next to the tree. I don't know. Rescue 911, that TV show with William Shatner, kind of messed me up when I was a kid. Because if you stand near the tree and the lightning hits the tree, you're going to and you got could fall down and fall out and die. Well, I don't know. Is it safer to be in the trees or to get away from the trees? I know it's not safe to be in the water, but what should the raptor do with the thunderstorm coming in? A very big thunderstorm. It's like the storm that's hitting Florida right now or did yesterday. What is going to happen in the real mascot matchup to the raptor? Is he going to survive the thunderstorm? Will he be able to avoid getting struck by lightning? What are the chances? There you go. All right. Joseph Starks is here. Good to see Joseph Starks checking in at the end of the stream with us. Good morning, Joseph Starks. Always good to see you. We missed you too. Yeah, Joseph. Ooh. Raymond Jacobs saying, I would love to hang out and spark a fatty with the Raptor mascot. Totally. I mean, Scotty gets mad at me when I put out his real name, but his name is Ryan, y'all. But shh, don't tell anyone. That's just inside information you get from the Raptorfreak channel. The name of the guy who plays the Raptor is Ryan. Now, when I told people that in Scotty's Twitch, he got mad at me. He said, why are you divulging that man's identity? Like he's a superhero or something. But I at least know what his first name is. So there you go. And Tom Duke's laughing. Yep, there's the thunderstorms. There's a lot of laughing. Tampa thought they were getting our team. No, they ain't getting our team, Seymour Pape. Tampa ain't getting nothing. Y'all don't deserve a team. Y'all just want to have a team down there so you can root for the Celtics against that team. You bastards. There you go. That's for you. All right, let's see. Fun Guy saying, Chris's Sports Corner and wife, by the way, as soon as your stream ended yesterday or day before, I ran in from start, and it was already divided into section. Really impressive. Nice work. Well, that's not me, fun guy. You know who's dividing my channel? And I have a producer. I have somebody who's helping me with this channel, and you know who he is. He's in this channel with us, and he has an emoticon language. Tom Duke is an executive producer of the Raptorsfreak channel. He is the one who is writing the chapter divisions as I'm doing the stream. So thank Tom Duke for that work. I thank him all the time, and I appreciate you, Tom, for wanting to do this and helping to do this for me, volunteering to do this. So yeah, yes, sir, ski. Yes, sir, ski, broski. That's my broski, Tom Dukeski. Yes, Tom Dukey. Tom Dukey in the house. That's right. Greg saying, morning, Joseph Starks, Tom Duke. The moment you're ever in town, let us all know, dude. Bust a game en masse to celebrate your role in the community. Pint someday prediction, Raptors will persevere. So, Tom, listen, seriously, I know that you really have a dream to come to Toronto to go to a Raptors game at the Scotty Bank Arena. I'm going to tell you this right now, Tom, since you've done so much to help me. And you've done so much. If you got here, I will give you room and board at my house. You can come and stay with me at my place, and you don't have to worry about where you're going to stay because you've been such a great help and friend to me on this channel that you're like a brother to me. So you come and stay at my house while you're here. If you can get to Toronto, you get here, you got room and board, and I will take you down to the game. We'll go to the game together. So there you go, Tom Duke. You have a place to stay here at the Raptorsfreak house. And you can stay in this very room that I filmed this in because we got a pull-out couch right here. So you can stay in the very room in the studio. That's it. So there you go, Tom. Yeah, I'm not giving this offer to any old person, but I will give this to you because I really do feel like you are like a brother to me. Some reason, I really feel like you may be have some family tie to me somewhere down the road. I don't know. I have some weird feeling about that. All right, so there we go. All right, Monique is saying, I knew that about that in the Raptor, but can't say shit about his name, etc. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, Monique knew that. And I shouldn't probably be saying that either. I shouldn't be putting his real name out there. Tom Duke saying it's happening soon for sure. All right, cool, Tom. If it happens this season, we do this season. It's an open invite for whenever it eventually happens, and we'll try and circle the wagons and get over to see Greg too at the 905 also. But we're definitely getting to Scotty Bank Arena. Joseph Starks saying, "Oh, if I came over too in the morning, I'm making waffles." Joe, Joseph Starks too. All right, I'm gonna extend this to Joseph and Shane Waters also. All three of y'all West Coasters. If you make the effort and you get to Toronto, you got a place to stay at my house. I don't care. Either one of you guys. Just don't bring your whole family. just like one of y'all. It's fine. I don't have a huge place. Raymond Jacobs saying Tom's coming down for finals and finally getting his Raptors tattoo. Hell yeah. You guys, actually, if y'all both showed up, I could probably figure out how to house both y'all. But all right, listen, I think we've gone 2.5 hours now. Let me just do a recap real quick. I think I did mostly everything that we wanted to talk about today. Really, once again, similar to what we did against Houston, let's get a contingency out there and out-vet the young Thunder. That they're really a one-man show, that SGA is carrying everything for them right now. And Lou Dort is not showing up yet. Josh Giddey's been hurt. And some of these guys are not playing as well as they could be for the rest of the Thunder. SGA is fantastic. So maybe Nick Nurse makes some sort of plan to figure out how to utilize this information to the best of the ability for the Raptors to win. So let's vet them and let's really figure out this whole situation with SGA being so important to them. How can we make this an advantage for us? And I want them to bust this game open and make them quit in the middle of the game. I'd love to see a white flag waving on the Oklahoma City side earlier in the game than right up until the last buzzer. That would be fantastic. Yeah, OKC going down. Our injuries, wrist real quick. Once again, on the side of the Thunder, it's just Darius Baisley. He's one of their best rebounders. He comes off the bench as their backup power forward. And then on Toronto, we got Kem Birch out because of his knee still. Precious is in the walking boot for 10 days. Pascal, we know the story with him. And then Justin Champagne's day-to-day. Our referees tonight are Zach Zarba is the crew chief. He likes shrimp oranganata. And I think Tom Duke served that up real nice, emoji style. And then we got JB DeRosa, who likes the salmon and risotto. And then we got Jonathan Sterling, who just likes maps. And he wants to dive with the Sharks. And he's a break dancer, y'all. If you didn't know that, he can do some breakdance moves. And he loves Drake, so that can't hurt. Maybe he really likes the new Drake album. maybe some of the players, maybe Nick Nurse could be like dropping a couple bars from the new Drake album with 21 Savage and just be like, oh, Jonathan Sterling, maybe he starts grooving. Maybe all of a sudden in the middle of the game, Jonathan Sterling jumps on the ground like it's got cardboard on it and he just starts doing like a head spin or like the worm, or maybe he's doing that one move that like spins all around. I forget what that one was called. I used to know all the names of all the breakdancing moves because that was such a cool thing when I was a little kid, break into electric boogaloo. But yeah, I'd love to see Jonathan Sterling just bust out some pop moves, a couple of like maybe he does like a woo woo. I don't know. It's like anything kind of cool like that. I love that. Philip Oliver Holes. Yes. Is that you, bot? I love SGA on the team. I'm from Hamilton also. Okay, yeah. I mean, we'd all love him to be on the team. He'd love to be on the team, I'm sure. Nick Nurse would love it. But is it a fit? Is it realistic? Is Sam Presti somebody we really want to deal with? No, he's not. He's not. Trust me. Seymour saying they have Chet out and we have Pascal out. It's going to be a great game. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be a good test. We just need to have these guys continue to step up and carry water in the absence of their players, their teammates that are not available, like Precious and Pascal. Oh yeah, Mason's getting in here right at the end, saying, "Hey, what's up, Mason? Good morning to you, Mason. Good to see you." All right, y'all. On that note, I'll see y'all tomorrow for the reaction for the game tonight and the preview for Indiana on Saturday night. This is a first night of a back-to-back, and the travel is going to Indiana, and it's kind of a weird travel because we actually lose an hour. We go from Midwest time to Central time, and that's a little janky. So the Indiana game may be a little bit of a trap game tomorrow, but we'll worry about that one step at a time. Take care of Oklahoma City, and then we'll take care of thinking about Indiana in the morning. So let's go Raptors. Let's beat the Thunder. Let's take care of business. This is a win that we need to get. We need to put this in the win column. We don't need to lose this game for some stupid ass reason. So be very professional and business-like tonight, Raptors, and you guys will succeed. I believe in y'all. Monique saying Nick Nurse knows SGA's playbook. Let's go get it. Yes, his familiarity with SGA is going to help tonight, I hope. Maybe he knows a little more about his tendencies than the average coach, and that'll help. Yes, Tom, I'm in. Toronto trip to the moon. You guys come on over, West Coast Raptor freaks, and let's hang out in the big smoke in the Toronto. Yes, Tom Duke. All right, guys. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you, Tom Duke, once again. Let's go Raptors!